and the Rise of Tiamat campaign. This is going to be a focused homebrew session on what we're calling the Bottomless Dungeon. So, our party is currently wrapping some things up in the Sword Coast, having defeated the White Dragon Cryovane and brought some peace to that area. As usual, we'll do a quick recap and then we will jump into our interlude. So, group, you guys will likely recall when we picked up last session, you were already in the middle of transporting around the Icespire Hold, which was the location of Cryovane, the White Dragon. You guys were sort of on the outskirts, having spotted these men who were up in a higher elevation who could spot you making your way around. You guys backed off to sort of make a plan, and shortly thereafter, Leroy joined the group as he had been traveling trying to catch up. And with your full party in tow, led by Philip, or at least in his mind he was leading, you guys then made your way back to Icespire Hold proper. Thanks to some magic on Leroy's part, a pass without trace spell, this allowed you guys to get up close pretty quickly, and using some clever tactics of teleporting and Syl going in his ring and popping on the other side when it was brought by Gale, you guys managed to essentially enter this secured area without raising any sort of alarm, and were able to take the scouts or these men here kind of at unawares. This quickly turned into a pretty solid route for your enemies as you were able to surround one of these men, these mercenaries, or they're actually called the Reavers. So you're able to surround one of these Reavers, and realizing he didn't really have much hope, he didn't fight you guys. Some of the other Reavers started coming up behind you, and again, realizing that they were at a significant disadvantage, they closed the door and, unbeknownst to you guys, actually secured it. And were trying to get out of there then, realizing that they didn't have much hope in succeeding at their original plan here. You guys then passed over the bridge, and during doing so were attacked by Cryovane, who had spotted the group from up in his high, airy domain looking down. He came by and did a sort of run-by breath weapon attack, hitting the group for some damage, or at least one of you. The group then managed to continue exploring the western side of the Icespire Hold and found that there were some sturges and found that there was a lot of destruction as the path of the dragon became pretty obvious. You guys eventually made your way, skipping a whole bunch of secret doors and stuff, and making your way to the top where you guys engaged the dragon and a bunch of his minions as well. Up there, the dragon seemingly was trying to stay at a distance, but as you guys were kind of close to the door and he saw some of you, he decided to pop in there, hoping to essentially come in and unleash some attacks and then get out of there. But you guys managed to quickly assemble your full team and surround him, and using a variety of abilities, bring him down pretty quickly. As the dragon dropped to the ground, this massive image of a 5-headed dragon suddenly appeared on top of that dragon and scanning around this area, seemingly looking at each of you very intently. The sort of power of this being was very clear from its very large presence, even though it was simply an image. You were eventually told, after the image faded away, taking the body of the white dragon with it, but you were told by Philip that that was a manifestation of Tiamat, a very powerful dragon deity that represents a chromatic dragon. Some of you guys were familiar with this, having some knowledge of dragons already. You guys discussed amongst yourselves. Philip explained that he needed to get back to his order quickly because he could feel that his blessing was starting to run out. And you guys decided to spend a little bit of time sort of scouting this area of Icespire Hold, seeing if you could find anything else of interest before making your way back to Phandalin. I will assume you guys spent maybe an hour or two searching there. We'll get into perhaps what you might have found there during that same time. And that is where we actually wrapped up, right when the dragon dropped and the image of Tiamat appeared. So that is the quick recap. Is there anything anybody would like to add to that recap that I missed?
Yeah, it's I don't know, probably not worth anything, but it's important for Gale's hook to stay with the group because in his mind he just wants to find Bryn's body and say, all right, bye guys, but because he face stepped and actually caused Carlvane to fear Gale, then I think didn't Tiamat say something to Gale and said, you should fear me and some type of threat?
Yes, in fact, go ahead and take inspiration for that, Gale, as Tiamat did indeed seem to focus on Gale. And Philip explained that Gale had gained the ire of Tiamat, and obviously that would not be good. He explained that he would have to gather a lot more information. What does this image manifestation of Tiamat mean? But likely the group was going to be involved, as they, especially Gale, but the full group indeed was likely a target of Tiamat's at this point. All right, guys, if there's nothing else to add to our recap, we will go ahead and get started. So as described, this is going to be a bit of a interlude. So quick technical note for anybody listening. Roll20 just released a new feature, which is their Windows feature. This allows you to place windows, even though we've already had the ability to do that using a slightly different tool. This tool that they released seems to be causing some performance issues for various players, so bear with us if we run into issues here or have to reload. It seems like it's really eating up a lot of processing power for some folks, noticing a lot of people in the forums mentioning that. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get through this without any delays or issues, but time will tell. So with that quick technical note out of the way, we will jump into our interlude. So group, what we're going to do here is ask that you all throw me a blind check to start, and feel free to drag your tokens right on the dungeon map that you are currently on. And once you have your token on there, go ahead and just click on your token and throw a blind check. And what I'm going to do is take this as a group check that is going to represent your efforts continuing to search through Icespire Hold as you guys spend another hour or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, searching around. Philip has very quickly left the group after having this brief discussion with you all. Again, he seemed to, it's very important to him to get out of here pretty quickly. You guys decided to stay back and do a little bit of searching. So based on group check here, Leroy, you will fail your check. Josephine, you will fail your check. Syl, you will fail your check. Gale, you will fail your check. And Kurtu, okay, every single person has failed their investigation check. So that is an epic group failure on searching Icespire Hold. What I will tell you guys is there were several secret doors here, but as far as stuff actually contained within, it was very minor. Most of these secret doors were ways to more easily get to various rooms. There was some interesting stuff in the basement, but you guys actually never found the basement because it was only accessible between one of two secret doors. So we will assume after this epic battle with Cryovane and you guys being very pumped at having defeated the dragon and wanting to get back to Phandalin in order to explain to the town that safety was here and that the threat of the dragon has ended, that you guys maybe are a little bit distracted. So as you're moving back through, you realize you're not really focused on this and just decide to cut it early and make your way back to Phandalin. So as you exit out of this area, find your way back to the door that was secured by the Reavers. You guys have to spend a bit of time here breaking through this door. As it turns out, once you managed to break through it, they had actually tied a rope on the door handle to one of the beams that were part of the stable stalls. Even after breaking through the door, you notice that the first couple of spaces are actually covered in caltrops. It seemed as though they were prepped here, thinking you guys were going to come through quickly, and they were hoping these caltrops would slow you up. But obviously, as that did not happen, you guys are able to easily walk through those slowly or clear them out of the way, whatever. No real threat once time is not of the essence. You guys then exit Icespire Hold and make the over a day journey back down the Icespire peaks here and make your way back to Phandalin. As you arrive back in Phandalin and fill the town in on the success of your group having defeated Cryovane and explain to them that this threat is gone, the sort of depression that had taken hold of this town, just down moods and so forth, seems to have been cleared, as most of the people here are incredibly happy and excited and seem to be just joyous now having heard this news. Some of the more skeptical people don't, kind of are a bit more reserved and they kind of hold in that celebratory mood. But as some days go by and there's no reported dragon attacks, Adabra even makes her way in from the windmill to let the town know that it's sort of been all quiet in her front. She just wanted to check and see if there was any issues in town, and then she hears this news. There are even some folks that come from Neverwinter, and after hearing this news, some are surprised as the news of the dragon had pretty much just made it to them at this point. Others arriving from Neverwinter or beyond seem to be familiar with this idea, and again, hearing that the dragon is defeated, they are very excited about this, and the news begins to spread even faster. The orc attacks seemingly also end very quickly as the more intelligent members, and maybe even some of our player characters here, posit that the orcs were pushed west by Cryovane appearing and sort of claiming that area as his domain. So as the group manages to defeat him, the orcs realize that they are no longer under attack from the dragon and start kind of making their way back to the east to their more ancestral homelands there, which takes the pressure off of Phandalin and the surrounding areas. Falcon the Hunter, you guys will recall his whole area was torched. He actually had made his way to Neverwinter trying to gather some support and resources for Phandalin. Within a few days, he makes his way back and begins, having heard this really good news, he meets each of you and buys you guys some drinks and food at the Stonehill Inn, and eventually decides to make his way back to the remnants of his forest cabin there with the intent of rebuilding the logging camp, even after you guys had defeated the Ankags there. And with this, again, threat of the dragon no longer there, quickly starts to pick back up. All in all, this whole area seems to be having a bit of a revival, you might say, after this short bit of time. So after you guys spend 5 or so days here in Phandalin, and the news really starts to spread, and everybody starts to believe it at that point, you guys can't go anywhere in Phandalin without somebody wanting to grab onto your shoulder and speak to you and buy you food and buy you drinks, and everybody is just so incredibly excited. In fact, after all this news occurs, there ends up being a delegate sent from Neverwinter with having heard this really good news. This delegate arrives from the Lord of Neverwinter, explaining that while they had hoped to hear more about this and were trying to learn more about the dragon itself and how they could what they could do to really help here, they only really learned about it late in the process, and it took quite a bit of time to kind of gather any supplies or any resources that may be able to aid Phandalin. But the Lord of Neverwinter has sent a treasure trove of gifts here. So essentially think of this as various jewelry, gems, and things to be showered upon the heroes that have saved this area in thanks from Neverwinter. All together, you guys get a total of 2,000 gold pieces that can be divided amongst you. Again, this would take the form of rings, gems, actual coins, that sort of thing. But you will assume you guys are able to liquidate this and sell it off pretty quickly. The town master himself is still kind of his same old self. He does actually eventually come out of his home now and is seen walking around. You guys can see this pretty obvious resemblance. If you recall, you rescued his brother from the logging camp. And he does start moving around the town and kind of scoping things out and trying to make himself more visible to the townsfolk. He also is very thankful to you guys, but not overly effusive in his praise. He's very happy with you. He doesn't say never a bad word or anything like that, but you do get the impression that maybe he's worried a little bit about his position here, being that you guys are the heroes, and he didn't really do hardly anything to really aid in this. So all in all, you guys start to see again a change in the town here. The regular townsfolk don't seem too happy with the town master Harbin himself, as overall they realize, again, you guys pretty much did all this work. It is eventually occurs that Misa is asked to, being that she is staying in town here, they, speak, realize that she has been helping you guys out a little bit here and there, and because she has decided to stay in Phandalin, they actually ask her if she would take on the role of town master, and because she has decided to set her adventuring life behind her, she agrees to do this, and she explains that she, really wants to help the folks here in Phandalin, and also wants to make sure that you guys' efforts are not lost. And in particular, it seems as though she's working on some kind of a display or a special commemoration for the fallen hero that she was so close to, Finn. And she is hoping that this will bring some, closure to herself and bring some happiness to the folks around. So as you guys spend this bit of time, we will go ahead and ask Dylan, go ahead and roll your roll. First, declare if high is good or high is bad, and then roll me a D100. You can roll that publicly.
Let's go. I want to roll high.
All right, so
Does that work?
D100. Yeah, absolutely. So you just don't want to get a 1 to 5 here. Okay, so no issues there. So after a total of you guys spending, we'll say 2 weeks here in Phandalin, being showered with celebration, gifts, food, again, baked goods keep coming your way. People just want you to stay in their homes even. Nobody even wants you to stay in the inn. Everyone wants to host you and hear all these tales. You guys are really happy about what is going on, and eventually, Leroy, this armor that you had sent over to Neverwinter, hoping that it would get refitted so that it would fit yourself, and you had hired some guards to make sure that was done successfully. It does indeed make its way back to Phandalin, along with, again, some more like flowery type stuff that the people there in Neverwinter, realizing it was coming this way, kind of added a little bit of extra decorative, sort of morale lifting kind of things. So you can certainly add that to your character sheet. Group, as you guys have spent... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say sweet. Nice.
Yes, absolutely. So you'll be looking dazzling in your new armor there. So group, as you guys have spent quite a bit of time here in Phandalin, are very happy of everything that's going on. Before too long, after these couple of weeks being back to Phandalin, Marlon St. Reed, the man you had met previously in the Stonehill Inn, who said he was looking to hire some folks, has made his way back to Phandalin here, and he once again touches base with all of you guys, letting you know that his task of looking for this artifact in the Bottomless Dungeon for his lord is still of very prime concern of his. And as you guys had discussed, that if the threat of the dragon was dealt with, you might be interested in following up with him in that very goal. So he once again asks if you guys are willing to take this on. And hopefully the answer is yes, because if it's not, we're going in a totally different direction.
Hey, Adam. I have that loot. In 2 weeks, do you think I could find somehow to identify it, or maybe Kurtu can? I'm not sure who has that ability or what I need to do to figure out what it is.
Yes, generally speaking, that would be the identify spell. But yeah, I would say within 2 weeks, that certainly wouldn't be an issue. Let me get you those details.
And Kurtu would tell you it's a loot.
Yes.
Where's Brendel when you need him?
Okay, so as the sort of last minute details are being taken care of, and Marlon St. Reed has explained to you guys that he has actually arranged for a galley to arrive at the western edge of the Sword Coast. So you guys essentially are going to have to take a day's journey out of Phandalin, make your way over to the west. There will be a canoe there that will be able to take you guys out to the galley, and then the galley will take you to his homeland. So with that in mind, is there any last-minute details anybody would like to try to wrap up here on the Sword Coast before you leave for an indeterminate amount of time?
I'm just imagining we took Gale to his sister's burial grounds.
Yep, for sure. And then I would say some of the gifts that we received, maybe like some more of the floral gifts and things that we really couldn't use, we would probably have left for Finn and Bryn in their little crypt, I guess you could call it.
Okay, fair enough. So back at the Dragon Barrow, you guys would leave some of those more, aesthetic type gifts there for them. Sure.
And I just want to know if my job's going to go away. I mean, if I'm leaving for a long period of time, I still want to come back and have employment if I need it.
You can take an LOA, put it in with your HR, they'll be okay.
Short-term disability or something, yeah.
Yes, and as you have this conversation with Toblin, Kurtu, he pretty much tells you that anytime you're coming back, he's more than happy to help have you work there, as people will certainly want to speak with one of the heroes that defeated the White Dragon, and you would be, a hot commodity if you're ever back in town.
It's nice to feel wanted.
I have a question. Are there any healing potions available for purchase anywhere in Phandalin?
Actually, Adabra, who is the alchemist who came from her windmill, she does have the skill or the talent to be able to create those healing potions. So I would say a total of, we'll say, 10 could be made available to the group for the purchase price of 50 gold each as per the PHB.
I'm willing to
Grab
go.
2 of those.
Yeah,
I'll take 2.
do-si do.
I take 2 also. I seem to need them. And good question.
Also, Adam, is there any barding for my warhorse available? Would that be something that I could find in Phandalin? Probably not, right?
Unfortunately, not in Phandalin, as they don't even really have a traditional smith. Again, that's something you could certainly do in Neverwinter, but it's a bit of a hike.
Yeah. No worries.
All right, anybody else? I'm typing up the loot now, but is there anybody else that has anything they wanted to take care of? All right, if not, then we will assume you guys have made this day's journey and find yourself now on this canoe and then making your way out to the ship. So for Gale, I'm going to read to you what this does because unfortunately copy-paste is not working for me right now. This is called a Loot of Illusions. It is a wondrous item that is common rarity. While you are playing this magic loot, you can create harmless, illusory visual effects within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on the instrument. If you are a bard, which I don't think anybody in the team is, the radius increases to 15 feet. Sample visual effects include luminous musical notes, a spectral dancer, butterflies, and gently falling snow. The magic effects have neither substance nor sound, and they are obviously illusory. The effects end when you stop playing.
Okay. Sounds good.
All
I don't even know how to play this thing.
right.
But I will hold on to it. Fine.
So as you keep that in your pouch and you guys have distributed that additional gold that you guys were rewarded here, you guys then take that day's journey across the plains of the Sword Coast here, exiting out of Phandalin, where you're given much of a hero's exit, as many of the townsfolk are sort of lined up on the road as you guys start making your way out. There's again much celebration and merriment here as you guys make your way out of the road, following Marlon St. Reed as he takes your group in the direction of this boat. And for those of you that may not remember exactly what Marlon St. Reed looks like, we'll go ahead and pop him up on screen. All right, there he is. So as Marlon St. Reed takes your group and leads you guys, you spend about a day and a half, maybe closer to 2 days journeying on foot as you make your way to the western edge of the Sword Coast there. And eventually, sure enough, you find yourself at the coast. The canoe with a small group of sailors is here waiting for you, much as Marlon has explained. You guys load up into the canoe and make your way out to this much larger galley. So you're able to sort of just sit there and relax as the sailors row you guys out. And before long, you find yourself on the open sea. All right, guys. So as you're on this galley, you realize it is sort of a 2 levels to this galley. There is the above deck, or just the deck as you may call it. You notice these large, massive oars reaching out of both sides of the boat here. As below deck, there is a whole group of sailors, or rowers, you might call them, who are actively working those oars and pushing the ship along. Also, with the sail up, the wind is helping as well. As Marlon sits on upper deck and looks at each of you in tow. As you guys are just starting to make your way out here, the smell of the sea air is strong in the air, and you can hear the sound of seagulls and some other animals that are known to be very close to the shore, kind of calling out. As you guys get a little distance out, he looks at all of you and has sort of a smile on his face. It seems like he's at quite a bit at ease here on the sea. You get a sort of the impression that maybe he's a sailor by trade. And as all of the sort of main tasks that need to be taken care of here are being taken care of by the crew, he leans back and looks towards all of you and says, "Well, it will take maybe perhaps 12, 16 hours, something in that range, for us to make our way all the way back to my homeland. There is much to discuss. If you have questions, I will answer what I can for now."
I have a pressing question has been on my mind. So why would we need the following? snowshoes, cold weather clothing, claim. No. So do we need cold protection?
That question is somewhat hard to answer. Well, you see, there is an expert who is, well, the bottomless dungeon. Allow me to explain it this way: when the bottomless dungeon is sort of you can reach it through magical means. That is really the only way to reach it. But the entrance to the bottomless dungeon, there is a, well, I guess you could almost call this a lobby, I suppose would be the best term. There is a man there who his family has overseen the bottomless dungeon for many years, going back several decades, in fact. They have learned much information working with various adventurers and others who decided to brave its depths, and they've been able to learn quite a bit of information. I would recommend making friends with him if you can. His name is Alexander. He is a middle-aged chap. I'm sure he'd be happy to give you information, but from what I can tell you, Gale, the layers or levels of the bottomless dungeon are all different. It's very possible one of them might be covered in snow. But, of course, you can only carry so many things, so you will have to decide what makes most sense to bring with you.
Well, okay. Well, that makes lots of sense.
Yeah, my question maybe isn't relevant, but, are you named after a fish? You like the water? Is that where Marlin came from?
You notice he smiles slightly and says, "Oh, I wish it were so. Unfortunately, I am named after my grandfather, and a son of a bitch he was."
Way to
Sorry
throw
to
one
hear
at
that.
him. A curveball at Adam there.
Well, with this bottomless dungeon, I guess you could tell us exactly the artifact we're looking for. Is it like a bronze bangle, a diadem? I mean, a cup? What do you need?
No, in fact, it is a box. It will be lacquered and looks similar to a treasure chest, I suppose, though not very large. It is the kind of coffer, I suppose, that you would be able to hold in two hands. It is not particularly large, maybe about the size of a jewelry box, according to all of the information that we have, but it is said to be resplendent in its beauty, and I don't think you'll be able to mistake it for something else, unless, of course, the bottomless dungeon has other tricks up its sleeve.
I mean, it's big enough to carry in two hands, but if we touch it, is anything crazy going to happen? Do we need to, get another box that's a little bigger to carry that box in? You know what I mean?
I wish I could tell you for sure, but unfortunately, there's very little that is actually known about this item. As has been explained to me, it was actually in the possession of some in the land, but one person who was given possession of it decided to take it into the bottomless dungeon. Why they did that? Hard to say. Some suppose it was to secret it away from others that sought it. Some say it was just too powerful and it had to be locked away. Will it do anything dangerous to you? Not according to our information. It is supposed to be, again, a beautiful box, but its only real magical property, as far as we know, is that gold placed inside of it can replicate itself.
That's pretty cool. I don't have any more questions. Somebody else can go.
I've got a couple questions. First of all, I know we're heroes and I know we're very popular now, but when you talked to us at first, well, we weren't really all that known and everything. Did all your heroes in your land all go down there and try to find it and none of them been successful?
Well, let me take that in two parts, little one. First, you are indeed heroes. The work that you have done there in the Sword Coast is quite significant. In fact, I imagine your deeds will be on the winds and the wings of travelers and messengers to come. Unfortunately, those messages won't make its way to my land. Nobody will know who you are in my land. You will be regular folks. Whether that suits you or not, perhaps will be up to each of you individually. Fame can be a fickle mistress, as they say. As far as the heroes of our land, there are many of them. Many choose not to brave the depths of the Bottomless Dungeon, for its exact nature is so mysterious and strange, and often people don't like the unknown. They want known quantities and understand how to overcome any various challenges. With that in mind,
Don't know where we're going. My other question for you though is, do you have gold dragons in your area? I'm looking for a gold dragon. Maybe I find one down in your bottomless pit.
in the Bottomless Dungeon, almost anything could be found. It depends on how far you go and how often you're willing to go inside. I will tell you that in our land, dragons are very rare, but in the Bottomless Dungeon, they say it connects to many different areas. It's hard to say.
Hey, do I get a sense that he's looking forward to going home? Oh, does he seem, or just professional?
Feel free to drag your token on the map here and throw me a blind check. He does have a calmer, maybe, attitude or presence than you recall before. You think most likely, though, it's the sea that seemingly is calming him, as he seems much more at ease here on a ship than he did in Phandalin. Whether going home is a boon to him or something he's looking forward to is hard to say.
Well, I would be very excited to go. Of course, I was going to go back home with Bryn, who did her best to save Phandalin.
Died. She died, dude.
Lost her life, yes, very, very, very heroically. But when I go home, there will be songs and just jubilee. My mother will be there, my father will be there, my younger brother would be there. And even though Bryn's ultimate sacrifice was made, there would still be merriment. What kind of greeting do you expect? Could you tell me a bit about your land and your family?
Where we are going now, it is going to be very bare bones, I suppose is the best way to say. There is a port that is close by to the entrance to the Bottomless Dungeon. It is set quite a distance away from the nearest city. As you can probably imagine, most people don't really enjoy the thought of a endless area of threat and danger. While nothing has ever come out of the Bottomless Dungeon, at least to my knowledge, that thought or that terror hangs heavy among the residents who live in the nearby cities. Where I will be dropping you off, as I say, that will be quite simple in nature. But when I get home to my actual city, I suppose there will be a small celebration, for you see, most of my family are dignitaries. They work in various diplomatic venues. They are spread across the land, trying to aid one another, prevent wars, reconcile issues that occur. My grandchildren are actually only ones still in the family home, so hopefully they will be happy to see me, but kids, as you can imagine, well, they sometimes have their own way of looking at the world.
Well, so business. There's a lot to do. Is there much waters where you come from? Is it a dangerous land?
It won't be for you all. The area that I'm taking you to is very secure. You'll have nothing to worry about in that regard. But I'm afraid to say that yes, the wider land, there is war. It is a civilized place, but it is an area of many different leaders, and each often thinks that they are best suited to be the leader of the entire area. And that causes much friction. So you can probably imagine why my lord wishes so feverishly to get his hands on this box.
And pardon me, maybe I've forgotten, but what is the name of the land we go to?
And you notice he smiles slightly and he says, well, I suppose you can call this Endrock, as that is the name that is often used by foreigners.
Endrock. Anyone else heard of Endrock? I'm sure I haven't.
It seems as though none of your companions have heard of this, as you notice him still sort of standing here. And as you're all looking at him, you notice he kind of walks and leans up sort of at like the back end of the railing here. And as you're watching him, so now the ship is traveling in a direction. You guys are looking at him as he is on the opposite end of the boat and where you guys are all gathered. So you're sort of staring behind you at this point as he nods slowly and says, "Yes, the truth is not many people come from your land to my land. As I explained previously, my lord is very desperate to take upon this mighty gift, and he has sought far and wide for those who would aid him in this endeavor. Therefore, most of your people on the Sword Coast, I'm sure, have never even heard of this land."
So I'm sorry if I'm very talkative today. It's been just a wonderful time. And you look at Gale; he's got amber eyes today, and he will say that it's just nice to have some peace once in a while. And you taking us to your land sounds like fun. But also, is there any apart from seeing Alexander, do you have any other tips for us to be successful for your mission?
Again, I wish I could give you more specifics, but what I can tell you of what I've learned from speaking with Alexander and some of the information my lord has passed upon me is that each layer of the Bottomless Dungeon is different. It shapes itself. Many people have suggested that this area was created by some very powerful wizard who had gone insane, but never proven, and Alexander and his family have never really believed that. They have other theories as far as its creation, but I can tell you that each area is sort of, to the best of our knowledge, self-contained. Each area will have its own peculiarities, its own properties. Don't treat any area that you go into as other areas that you have already been in. Every time you enter the Bottomless Dungeon, the first thing you should do is try to learn your environment. Learn what the surroundings are, what any kind of special properties there may be. I have heard tale of some. Not everybody that enters survives and exits, as I'm sure you are aware, but those who do have very many different stories. I've heard people say they have entered to find themselves in beautiful forests. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense thinking that this is a dungeon. Others have said they've seen true dungeons, actual brick walls that allowed them to walk around as though they were in some kind of a prison area. Others still have actually described suddenly finding themselves underwater as they arrived in the Bottomless Dungeon. Almost anything your imagination can conjure seems to be possible.
Well, I'll need to some sleep, and I'll just sit down. I'll let you guys talk too. Sorry.
Guess my biggest question really is, what do we get for getting you your box? We get some more money? Got some special something or another for us? I mean, what's in it for us?
You notice he nods and says, "Yes, I understand what you're requesting. I can tell you that my lord is very influential. He has, a treasury of secreted items that he has acquired over many years. He is also somewhat wealthy, though the box will make him quite more wealthy, as you can imagine. If there is something that you desire, let me know, and I will see if it's something that he is able to provide to you should you accomplish the box. I will tell you, however, that in searching out various folks to try to aid in this quest, they have often said, well, give us all of these things up front, and that will help us in acquiring the box. He does not go for that sort of arrangement. He will only offer payment upon successful delivery of the box."
Oh, really? Well, very well. I'll take a ring of protection.
I am sure something as common as that will be within his means. All right, as you guys are focused on him and watching this, checking everybody's passive perceptions really quickly, none of you notices anything at the moment. However, short moments later, you realize that there is a chill in the air. It's as though the temperature has dropped significantly in a very brief period of time. Even the sounds around you have changed. While you're clearly still on the ship and moving through the water, it's as though you're in a different area of the sea suddenly. This is a very odd feeling to you, as you didn't notice any kind of change, but atmospherically there clearly has been a change.
And the waters are calm, or not calm, but the same.
Very similar. Yes, you're sort of sailing, cutting through the waves and that sort of thing. But there is I will say it's gotten windier, perhaps. There's less light in the air, and this all seemed to happen in a split second.
What's going on?
Does Marlin seem concerned at all, or like tense in any way, or does this like seem normal to him?
He doesn't react in any way, but perhaps you are now wondering, as you notice him specifically move and lean against the railing, which caused all of your attentions to look towards him and not to the forward facing, you start to wonder if maybe that was intentional. And you notice he sort of looks around a bit and says, well, is there any other questions that you have? If not, I will allow you to enjoy your time on the galley. You can spend it above decks if you wish. We even have some spare fishing rods if you'd like. Trolling behind the ship can sometimes be rewarding if you're interested in such a thing. If you prefer to catch some shut-eye or just relax, there is small quarters down below. You'll have to make your way through some of the rowers. It's a little cramped down there if I'm honest, but, well, some of these ships, they don't exactly make them for luxury or comfort. However, is there any other questions before I leave you to it?
I have an important question.
Yes, please.
So where we're going, I know we're gonna spend most of it in the bottomless dungeon, but we're bound to see some people, right? What can you tell us about the social conventions and like customs of your people, just real quick? Like, are there any rude words or gestures we might need to know about to stay away from while we're in your kingdom? I would hate to offend anybody.
This is a great question, and I thank you for asking it. Well, what I can tell you is that my people are very honorable, and any type of slight to their honor will not be appreciated. So as long as you don't offend anybody, if you don't go out of your way to offend them, it's unlikely that you will. But, well, I am somewhat familiar with your customs on the Sword Coast. I can say that any kind of pranks or tricks that you might think would be some way of easing tensions or adding a little bit of laughter, I would recommend not doing anything along those lines. Everybody travels with their faces uncovered. The idea is that if you must hide your face, you must have something to hide. So as long as you are observable and transparent in any transactions that you have with the people, I'm sure you will do just fine.
And is this Alexander from your land?
He is, yes. His family has a long legacy of serving my lord. He is very knowledgeable about the Bottomless Dungeon, and I encourage you to ask him any additional questions that you might have about the Bottomless Dungeon in particular. Well, if there are no other questions, then I shall take my leave. I will walk around and make sure that the crew are doing well enough. If you need anything, feel free to get me. We have various staples. We have some foods and things tucked away in barrels. There is, of course, barrels of water and barrels of rum, as you can probably imagine most sailors are fond of. But I will make sure that the crew is doing well and that there is no major issues that are going to occur at the moment, and try to, prevent any oddities from happening on the ship here. You are free to roam the ship as you wish. I just ask that you don't interfere with any of the crew in their work, as it is quite important.
I'll take the fishing rod. That sounds like a nice, peaceful thing to do.
Ah, yes. And you see he sort of steps down this little area. So where you guys are at right now, sort of at the rear of the ship, and he actually steps a little bit down this set of stairs that is connected to the main deck of the ship, pulls a couple of fishing rods that are leaned against the wall here, and walks back up these stairs, and he holds 2 different rods and a bucket of what looks to be bait, and he hands it over and he says, "Here's one for you, and one if another of your companions wishes to spend some time fishing as well."
Sil, come on, let's go. Let's catch some fish. There might be a fish with a big diamond inside its mouth.
something, wouldn't it?
Or you can just relax. But no one wants
No,
to go fishing with me.
I'll keep you company. I don't
Oh.
particularly want to catch any fish, but I'll watch.
Okay, very good. You can give tips.
Leroy hates the water. He's not a big fan of it. He's a rock, so he thinks he's just going to sink. So he's going to try to stay in the middle portion above the water. He doesn't want to go below deck. So whatever that has him doing, he's just going to try to be as middle ground as possible. But he will be looking in the direction the boat's going.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll put you mid-deck then, Leroy, to represent where you're spending your time here.
You guys have fun. Oh, sorry,
Kurt wants to fish because I want to try to see if I can catch some fresh food. I mean, it could happen.
Okay, so I've got Gale, Kurtu, and Syl at the backside of the ship. Two of you fishing and Syl observing. How about for Josephine?
You guys have fun up here. It's a lot more fun watching these boats go in and out of the port from my family's beach house than being on one. I'm going to go below deck and try not to puke.
All right, so Josephine, as you make your way down those stairs, pass by the central sail and mast, and make your way down the stairs, you find yourself below deck, and much like Marlin explained to you, this is very cramped quarters. You notice probably somewhere approximately 24 rowers down here. There is a pretty bad odor of body sweat and just kind of stink from uncleanliness. They all kind of give you different odd looks. As I imagine, you probably look a bit more clean and proper than most of these folks. Is that right?
Probably better than them, but it sounds like it's a low bar.
Yes, it is
She's
indeed.
She's kind of a bit of a ragamuffin, but her cloak is fancy.
Okay, fair enough. So yes, as you make your way down, I'm assuming you don't want to sit at one of the benches and actually take an oar up, right? So you want to just kind of hang out in the backside of the boat and just relax there.
Yeah, trying not to focus on everything that's happening around her.
Okay, fair enough. So, as you guys sort of split up and do your own things here, I will ask both Kurtu and Gale, go ahead and throw me blind checks to represent your efforts at fishing. And Leroy, you can throw me a blind check as well, and Josephine, you as well. Gale and Kurtu, you don't have much luck here. You're probably maybe more accustomed to shore fishing or fishing in still water, and this is a totally different skill set. You're having to, cast it out and try to make sure that it follows along the boat. Every now and again, it seems like the two of you are getting your lines crossed and then having to untangle them, and I imagine that has a whole lot of separate consequences for it as you guys are maybe bickering with one another about who crossed whose line. But yeah, not having so much luck pulling anything out of the water.
But I will say I would not do that. You see, Gail's going to say to Kurtu, "I'm sorry, I think I'm in your way. Let me try to just. I'm messing you up. You're a much better fisherman than I am. You are very good."
Well, I'm just wondering if maybe I should just eat the bait fish. I mean, I'd be happy with that.
But I won't tell anyone. That sounds like a fun idea.
And as this thought crosses your mind, Kurtu, you notice that most of the bait is actually like night crawlers, but there are a couple of smaller fish that are kept in a separate bait, like a bucket filled with water, and they look more like minnow-sized.
Oh, you're so tempting.
I'll say, if you eat one, I'll eat one.
One? I was going to eat yours.
No,
It's
no.
okay.
Go, you eat one, I'll eat one. Come on. On the count of 3.
1, gulp.
2.
2, gulp. 3, gulp.
So I hurry up and go. I'm going to try to eat 3.
All right, so Kurtu, as you're very much accustomed to eating raw fish, I imagine this is just like a delicacy for you, or at least...
Oh, and night crawlers, too. You said night crawlers.
I'm so getting an image of friggin' Dr. Zoidberg from Futurama right now for Kurtu. But as you're doing this, and Gale, you try to follow suit, give me an idea. Does Gale typically eat like raw food?
No, but he's in auto mode, so he's happy and generous and peaceful, so he's sharing everything.
All right, so I'm taking this check that you just made to sort of represent your stomach queasiness, I guess you could say. And yes, you eat these 3 minnows pretty quickly, trying to match Kurtu's pace. They do not taste particularly good. Again, it's raw fish, and they're actually wiggling on the way down. But you manage to keep this down, even though it gives you maybe a bit of a feeling as they kind of go down.
Oh, you eat these regularly?
Not always. Sometimes I have to get cooked food because sometimes people only cook the food. But sometimes I do get these delicacies, yes.
Well, not my taste.
Leroy, as you're on the center ship and just watching forward, looking for anything out of the ordinary, you can see the boat is, again, cresting these waves, moving at a good pace. You can hear the men down below doing this sort of heave-ho as they're trying to all oar in unison, as this is obviously important to make sure the boat is moving at a steady pace. This seems to be working very well. As you're looking towards the sky, again, this just seems a little bit different to you. You can't really place exactly why, but you get this really strong feeling that the weather is getting ready to turn and it's likely to storm before too long.
I just assume everybody else knows, and I'm just going to kind of take one of the 10 feet rope I have and just tie myself to that center mast. I hate boats in the water. So he's
Okay.
just...
Fair
big
enough. So
scaredy
you're
cat.
basically taking a length of rope and tying it around your waist and then tying a knot to the mast?
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't care if he looks foolish to everybody else because he's already freaking out about it.
You might notice a couple glances from Marlin, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Maybe he just realizes you're a little bit anxious being on a boat here. And yes, if you're not really used to being on a boat, this momentum, this motion of the boat certainly could throw you off a bit. Okay, so guys, you're traveling in this potentially long trip, and is there anything in particular anybody would like to do during this time, or just allow the ship to keep moving as it gets closer to its destination? Okay, hearing nothing, I will assume you guys are good where you are, and you're spending your time on this trip in that location. So we've got Leroy at mid-deck and tied to the mast. We've got Kurtu, Gale, and Syl all in the rear of the ship, sort of fishing and kind of observing what is going on here. And we've got Josephine below deck at the rear of the ship, just kind of watching all of these different guys doing their roaring, maybe trying to relax, that sort of thing. Josephine, you don't pick up anything out of the ordinary, nothing, grabs your attention, anything along those lines. As you guys continue on this journey, you would eventually, Gale and Kurtu, have some small successes at fishing here if you continue spending significant time doing this, but overall nothing too impressive as far as size of a fish pulled out, that kind of thing. This journey goes on for quite some time. As you guys are enjoying this, if you like the ship kind of atmosphere, or perhaps more nervous as time goes on. Leroy, I'll say you're getting a little bit maybe uncomfortable being tied to the mast for several hours here, but maybe the uncomfort of the water is even stronger than the uncomfort you feel tied to the mast. So this is sort of the lesser of two evils. As the day winds down, as you guys continue journeying, you've seen Marlin make the route, here, sort of rounds and talking to the guys. He seems to spend most of his time above deck, but he does dip down below, checking with the rowers and so forth. As the light in the sky starts to descend, as you have traveled several hours here, hard to put an exact time on it, but you remember he said it would take anywhere between 12 and 16 hours. So I imagine you guys are relaxing here and there, trying to catch a bit of shut-eye maybe even. But as the light descends and night comes upon you guys, there is no real light in the air anymore, but as each of you has dark vision, either through a racial ability or through your goggles, this isn't particularly problematic. And you will notice that down below Josephine, one of the crew members does take the time here to light up one of these lanterns that is sort of stuck in the center mast and is producing light, which kind of illuminates most of the below deck area. Those of you above deck, you start to notice that this fog begins to roll in here, suddenly encompassing the group. It's not like supernatural or anything like that. You just assume this is, part of being on the water. The fog does start to gather, and it's kind of just flowing around you. It feels wet on your skin. You can feel quite a bit of moisture. Josephine, you might smell a little bit of this down below, but obviously you're not seeing anything too much of this as you guys continue traveling through.
If it gets foggy, I'm probably going to not fish anymore and just be more safe in the center of the boat.
Okay, sure. So I will then assume that Gale has decided to move to midsection.
Syl will go up there too.
All right, we will assume that Syl goes midsection as well, where the two of you will now notice Leroy tied to the mast.
And I'll save the exhausting roleplay that would definitely assume from that image. Why? Who tied you to mast?
I did. I don't want to be here. I thought I wanted to see the sea, but I don't want to see the sea anymore.
Well, okay. If you feel safe, you didn't tie it very tight. You want me to make tighter?
I got this.
Well, okay, I'll let you be. It'll be all right, my friend. It'll be okay.
Syl says something to Leroy, but the first thing he's gonna say it in the language Terran, like primordial, but the Earth elemental version. Do you speak that?
Yeah, he does.
Well, anybody that doesn't speak it, it sounds like Sylphasad has got a mouthful of like pop rocks and jawbreakers. And yes, that's what he asks you. I'm sorry, not to overstep here, but I couldn't help but notice you look to be a bit earth-touched. Are you Pectkin? Dowkin?
Yeah. We are descendants from a Dow, I guess. I don't know. My dad never really talked about it, and then he died. And then, I mean, obviously, I'm, like primarily made of earth. So, yep. I don't know much about it, though.
Never mentioned the name Aslaw's the gem glutton of Stonecore, did they?
He just starts shaking his head. Nuh-uh. Nope.
Figured it was a long shot, but I might as well ask.
Is that like your favorite?
It's just a friend of mine. The Dow I know.
Mm. You know a Dow, like personally?
Indeed. I'm good friends with one. At least I think so. He may tell it different.
Well, they can be mean sometimes. So if he's mean to you, you just let me know. I've got your back.
To get him to meet you someday.
Sure. Now, I'm gonna throw up if I keep talking. So I'm gonna close my eyes and hope that we make it okay.
Stick a coin on your tongue. Touch it to the roof of your mouth.
He's gonna take a handful of gold coins and put them all in his mouth at once. Just like 3 or 4. I don't know. It's not working.
And then after that, Syl would kind of leave you alone. That's just that stupid, like, old wives' trick about putting like a piece of metal on your tongue is supposed to make seasickness go away.
Yeah, Leroy is on the unintelligent side. He's brute. That's it. So, he answers very rash, and then obviously he doesn't think things through. He comes up with a plan and then sees it as the best option.
All right, guys, so as this interaction occurs and you guys continue traveling, again, the fog has sort of gathered here a bit, moving by gently around you. Okay, guys. So, as you guys continue moving through this area, you can hear the sound of the waves going by. Altogether, it's fairly peaceful, but as the night continues to get darker, you could say, or as the night continues to move on, you do notice that the sea kind of seems to start picking up. The waves are a little bit rougher. The wind is a bit stronger here. Starts to kind of move the boat a little bit more side to side. The rowers down below are doing what they can. Josephine, you're able to notice that they kind of seem to work in shifts. So they will row for a while, and then a guy will take a break. A few of them will take a break, kind of rest. On these benches, they kind of almost just like lay down on them. You can see various, backpacks and... okay, Kurtu, does that mean below deck or still above deck?
Oh, I think I should probably go below deck, because then that way I just can't fall off somehow.
Okay, fair enough. So, Kurtu, you make your way below deck, and I'm going to put you nearby Josephine, as the two of you are at the rear of the ship and watching the workers kind of do their thing. Again, you do notice that they have various belongings, backpacks. Some of them even have weapons. As you can see, like daggers stored at their sides. Some even will have like bows that are kind of lying on belongings. You get the impression almost of like... people carrying everything they owned with them in a sense, as there's these various belongings kind of stowed here and there. As the night continues, again, moving on, the water gets a bit rougher here. Leroy, you're not having too many issues, being that you're tied to the mast, but Syl and Gale and even Josephine and Kurtu, to a lesser extent, you do feel like a jostling here and there as the water hits the boat, and you're a little bit uneasy on your feet. Occasionally it hits hard and you feel like you're having to balance yourself, maybe stick a hand out or grab on. Those of you guys down below, obviously you can just grab onto the side of the boat because there's a solid wall there. Those of you guys above deck, you might have to grab onto like this railing occasionally. Again, Leroy, being that you're tied, no real issue, but maybe you're feeling like pulled against the length of the rope on occasion. And yeah, it just continues picking up and getting a little bit worse as far as the sea is concerned. So I am going to move us over now to this event map, I'm going to call it, as the night continues, as things can sort of progress and get a little bit more intense here. As I move you guys over, I'm going to put us in initiative order as there is something that is occurring.
Oh, goody.
Okay, so Syl, you feel the ship again rocking as water batters against it pretty loudly. As you're kind of focused here, trying to keep your footing, trying to make sure that there is, no issue or no possibility of sort of getting knocked off the boat or anything along those lines, you notice, thanks to your dark vision, as you're peering through this fog, and you can see there is this lantern that's been connected to the front of the ship to guide the way of the boat. You notice suddenly slipping aboard deck is a large serpent that seems to leap right out of the sea and find its way right up on deck.
Serpento! Point at it.
Okay, so Syl, as this is like essentially the beginning of your turn, this is what you notice when this happens. At the beginning of your turn, please give me an acrobatics check, and you can feel free to make this publicly. All right, you're easily able to keep your feet here, Syl, as you feel, again, this sort of movement underneath the boat, and it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I will use my bonus action to use Elemental Gift and whip up a whirlwind of sand around the lower half of my body and start flying, although I'm just going to hover like right over the deck.
Okay, so as you leave the footing of the boat, you realize this wind is quite strong, and as there's nothing tethering you to the ground, you feel it start to actually push you.
And then I will, with my action, cast Mirror Image. That's going to be my turn, I guess.
Okay, so you've used your bonus action, and then you used an action to cast this spell. Okay, and you're ending your turn there?
Yeah.
All right, as you end your turn and don't take any movement, the air actually pushes you backward 20 feet. So you find yourself again, you leave the ground of the boat, so you're up in the air, no resistance or whatnot. The air actually pushes you backwards 20 feet as you end your turn there. At the end of your turn, Sil, unfortunately, you're going to notice at the rear of the ship, another one of these serpents has suddenly leaped aboard deck. So I'm going to move to the serpent's turn. So as you see this serpent, you notice it has a very strange tricoloration, this black, gold, and red. It is quite large size, about the size of a horse, in fact. And you notice that it is sort of wrapped around this railing a bit, and it starts slithering along the railing itself. And you realize the fact that it's sort of connected to this railing, even though the ship is being jostled back and forth, it doesn't seem to have really any impact on it because it's connected to the railing itself.
Moving.
Yes, it slithers along the railing here. Once it gets to here, you do notice that it is going to stretch away from the railing sail, moving up next to you, and as it does, it is going to leap forward in this attack pattern as this length just reaches out its jaws, trying to snap on you. Give me a defensive roll, please.
Here's mirror image first.
You're going to notice that your mirror image has no effect on this creature as it knows exactly where you are. All right, and as you spot the creature coming in for that strike, you just kind of shift a little bit as you're flying here, and the jaws snap next to you loudly.
Can I say something out of turn or not yet?
You can very briefly, sure.
I'm going to yell, "We're under attack! There's snakes on the deck!" as loud as I can.
And I will say down below, Josephine, go ahead and give me an acrobatics check to start your turn. And again, that can be done publicly.
Okay. Oh god, roll 20's lagging. Let's see. Acrobatics. Probably not.
You can set yourself back to public rolling on that one, but yes, unfortunately, this rough water actually knocks you prone at the beginning of your turn. You also go ahead and throw me a blind check. This will represent your perception to see if through all of this heavy wind and the sound of the ship and all that, you can actually hear what Gale has just yelled. You can hear something. You don't hear the full extent of it, but I'd probably say you hear the word under attack, and that's probably it. So you will start your turn prone, but it is your turn.
Alright, I will stand up, spending half my movement. So, do we round, or... Because I have 45, is it...
You always round down, so it's been 20 feet to stand up.
20 feet to stand up, so I got 25 left. Oh, shit, that doesn't sound good. Well, glad I had a light lunch. And then I'm gonna start moving, so 5, 10... We did come in up here, right?
You
I'm not
did, yes.
walking away. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then I will take the dash action.
All right, so as you get to about there, Josephine, you notice to your northeast, one of these rowers suddenly goes, "Oi!" And you can see a small leak has suddenly sprung on the east side of the ship, and water, though it's not a gush or anything along that, like that, it is definitely more than a trickle, and it seems like it is now coming in the ship.
Shit, what do we do about that, boys? And she'll just direct that to whoever's around. Receiving no answer, I'm gonna go,
I will say your answer from the crewmate is you notice the crew in this direct vicinity suddenly gets very nervous and they begin panicking, so much so that, and I want to put an icon on the map here so we know where the spill is. Of course, they don't have a good water spill icon. I'm going to just change the color of this one. Oh, that's terrible. I will find a more appropriate image here in a moment, but you will notice that the people nearby, as they are panicking, They're actually like flailing their arms about, trying to move around and causing a bit of a difficult movement in this area. So until I get a good image on screen here, you can think of the leak right here. So these three guys at the moment are all kind of panicking. And if you move, not in your current space, but if you move within 5 feet of any of the three of those guys, consider it difficult terrain as you're kind of having to force through them, get away without getting tackled by them as they're really panicking.
Okay, well, Josephine has never been on a ship before, and she does not know how to patch a leak, so she's going to trust the crewmen to do that, and I will keep going. So, this was... Okay, oh god, I'm all out of sorts. So, 20, 25, 30, 30, 40, 45, so yes. Now I will use my action to dash. So 5'10" to get past this guy. 15, and I'll shot back to Kurt too. We need it. We need out back up top. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Ah, there it goes.
All right, so as you are now above deck, Josephine, you notice that the stairs to your north is how you would ascend out of here traditionally to walk up to get to the above deck area.
Can I hear like the wind howling and stuff up there?
You can, yes.
Then I will brace myself in this stairwell and try not to... I won't move any further forward. I don't know how far down I am relative to the deck.
About 7 feet at the moment.
Okay, I will get ready to come on out and attack on and help out on the next turn. But I don't want to go up on the deck and like get blown overboard. So I'm gonna brace myself in the stairwell for now. And that is all I got.
All right, so I've done my best here, Kurtu, to put a tiny little image on screen representing where the leak is at the moment. Hopefully you can see that, but it is your turn, Kurtu. What would you like to do?
I'm going to follow Josephine.
So what I'm going to do is, and again, just to make sure you've got plenty of understanding of what's going on here, I'm going to add an icon to each of the panicked rowers at the moment. And if you get within 5 feet of these guys, consider that space that you're trying to move difficult terrain.
Understood. And do I need to make a dex acrobatics check first?
Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, please, acrobatics check at the beginning of your turn. That will succeed, so you manage to maintain your footing. All right, those three guys that have the rage icons, about as close as I can get, consider them panicking, and if you get within 5 feet of them, each space within 5 feet of them is considered difficult terrain.
All right, I'll just go ahead and finish there then, and I'll end my turn. Oh, actually, I want to take the dash action.
Okay, you dash, feel free.
Is the teleport script working?
It is.
Cool.
And
All right.
that'll end my turn.
Okay, yeah, feel free to end your turn. So, Kurtu, you and Josephine are currently sharing a space. Now, being that when you're sort of walking up, there's a little bit extra room. I'm not going to say you fall prone or anything like that, but consider yourself in, for mechanical purposes, you're very close together, though in your own little subspaces, we'll call it.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten too much in her space unless it was reasonable to do so.
Right, so technical limitations of the software will say, again, no mechanical negatives for you guys. You're very close together, but in technically separate spaces.
Perfect, and I'm going to reboot right here. So.
Sure, yeah, and we will move to Gale's turn. So Gale, at the start of your turn, go ahead and make a public acrobatics check as you feel the boat throwing you around.
I'd prefer to use my strength to hold on to the center mass.
Unfortunately, you can't right where you're at the moment, but you do manage to maintain your footing.
Okay. Action. Put my shield on,
Okay, don a shield.
and then free action's going to be to untie Leroy.
Okay, you want to interact with object to untie that. I will say if you're going to try to interact with object to that, it is going to require a skill check. If you use an action, you can do it, no check. But to do it as an interact with object, you're going to have to give me a blind check to see if you can untie his knot.
I'll do that.
Okay, so then I'll ask that blind check from you, and then Leroy, you give me a blind check as well to see how well you tied this knot to the mast.
Hopefully pretty well, because I didn't want my ass to get tossed over.
It certainly has been holding your weight so far, but Gale, you have no problems at all here untying Leroy's knot quickly and deftly doing so, and Leroy, you are no longer connected to the center mast.
Why? Why'd you do that?
Because we are under attack. Look up there and look back there.
My eyes have been closed on purpose.
All right. Interact with object with that action. Can I draw my sword as free action? Free?
Unfortunately not, because that's your interact with object to untie him.
Fine. Then I'm going to sit right there, and then I am going to move 5, 10. Now, am I on the stairs there?
You are, yes.
And in melee with the creature as well, right?
That is correct, yep.
All right, fine. That sounds great. Right where I want to be in my turn.
All right, staying close to the railing, you notice this snake slithering forward. It then goes here, connecting to the railing of the stairs leading down below, and noticing both Josephine and Kurtu within easy, tasty snack reach there. It is going to strike after. I'm going to call Kurtu 1, Josephine 2. Strikes at Kurtu. Kurtu, as you're there trying to avoid running into Josephine, you notice the snake leaps forward, its mouth launching out towards you. Give me a defense roll, please. Oof, Kurtu, to start the interlude campaign, you suffer a critical hit, and I'm going to ask you to give me a piercing crit upon yourself.
I'm gonna say no.
Oof. Oh, this is a bad one. Okay, so as the snake's jaws snap upon you, we're going to do crit damage, and I'm going to ask you to roll a major injury on yourself, Kurtu.
I'm gonna deny that option as well.
Okay, so that is going to be 13 points of piercing damage. Then let's see what the major injury is.
Where's that at, Adam?
That is a separate button. If you don't currently have it, down below there, go ahead and click at the top right corner of the bulleted list icon. You will find a macro called injury. Just make sure that's checked as in bar. It will appear as a button on the bottom of your screen. You can click injury, and then it's going to prompt you for the type of injury. You will, of course, select major injury and click OK, and that will pop the text in chat of what your injury is. Okay, so because of this very fearsome strike on you, you are now considered to be on the edge of death. You have disadvantage on Constitution and Death saving throws. In addition, when you get bit by this snake, you feel sort of its fangs hit you and sort of inject this chemical or something into you, which requires a Constitution saving throw, and conveniently, you now have disadvantage on that.
Big money, big money, big money. Take the 12. Take the 12.
All right, you managed to succeed on this check, luckily, and you have no additional effects at the moment. All right, that is the snake's turn, and we'll move to the bottom of the round with Leroy. Leroy, at the start of your turn, no longer anchored here to the center mass. Please give me an acrobatics check at the beginning of your turn.
Our strong suit.
Yes, indeed. So with the leverage of the rope suddenly gone, you fall to your butt as the ship bucks about.
Right. I'm going to stand up using my remaining movement, I guess. and tie myself back to the mast.
All right. So would you like to do that as an action, meaning you automatically succeed, or do you want to use this interact with object, meaning you'll have to make a check?
No, Adam. I'm only joking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were serious because I totally
I
believed
thought
the
he was
fear of the
serious,
water.
too.
No, I mean, at this point, like, after seeing Kurtu just get attacked like that, because it was, like, right in front of him, Leroy's dad instincts kick in, so, that would be 15 feet of movement left when he got knocked prone and then stood back up, so, let's see, interact with object, what he's gonna do is, draw his battle axe, no shield, so his AC is -2 right now, Adam.
Okay, so
And-
unfortunately, the space you just walked through contains the mast, so you won't be able to take that first diagonal. You'll have to go around the mast.
Gotcha. So we'll go that way. And then let's do interact with object for javelin. And he's just going to try to chunk it at the snake.
All right, so yes, as you keep on your footing getting across here, you grab a javelin from the back and you throw it towards the snake. Go ahead and make your attack. Yes, the javelin definitely strikes. Go ahead and post damage. All right, and that javelin pierces into this thick, scaly skin of the snake, wounding it.
I'm going to hiss and end my turn.
Okay, at the top of the next round, you guys notice this strange shape off to the north. I will say probably only Leroy can see this at the moment. It looks like some kind of small flying creature that is getting closer to the front of the ship. Okay, let's see. Double checking my bad stuff that happens by round checker. Yes, Syl, it is your turn. Again, keep in mind, you're currently flying. You're not in any way connected to the boat, and you can feel this air rushing at you pretty quickly. You realize if you remain in the air, it's going to continue pushing you backwards. Your turn.
I will use my bonus action to cast Spirit Shroud. Call upon spirits of fallen Bedine warriors.
All right, yeah, feel free to post that. Okay, you begin concentrating on this spell.
Fly around to here. I know this is a stupid question, but I'm playing in too many games. I can't keep this straight. We use flanking in this game.
We do, yes. You get a +2 for flanking in this campaign.
Alright, so I fly over here and I'm going to come in slashing.
That first attack will miss. Second attack will miss. All right, so you are mirror imaged and you suddenly find yourself shifting away. So as you're still in the air, this time the wind picks up very strongly and you are flung back 40 feet. All right, so you are an additional 15 feet off map now, Syl. And you say that's the end of your turn. Go ahead and hit your end turn button. So that's forced movement, so of course no opportunity attacks on that, but you realize now with the strength of this wind rushing back towards you, it may be challenging to catch up to the boat. And I will just tell you as a matter of course, if you're not on the boat and it gets way far away from you, it's going to be very difficult to get to anywhere of safety. So with that in mind, we will move to the snake's turn. So the snake, now seeing only Gale next to it, is going to, as it is still wrapped on the railing here, it's going to turn and try to strike you, Gale. Defensive roll, please. Yes, the snake does indeed manage to bite into you, Gale. And that is going to deal 8 points of piercing damage, and I'll need a Constitution saving throw. Okay, you managed to succeed on that, suffering just the damage. Okay, at the front of the boat, Leroy, you notice now this shape that you spotted. It's actually getting closer. It looks like a flying snake, a fairly small one. It lands on the edge of the deck here, and as it does, you notice the shape wavers suddenly, and instead of being a flying snake, there is now a humanoid figure there.
I'm gonna yell out a turn. Somebody get Marlin!
creepy snake guy!
And as you see him, you notice this very intense look on his face as these yellowish snake-like eyes dart around. In pretty quick action here, you notice he reaches into a pouch and pulls out this, you assume, some type of small object, and he smashes it down on the deck of the ship. And you notice as he does, a swirling effect as suddenly in front of him a form emerges. All right, and that will be his action. And next up is Josephine.
I'm kind of stuck here. I assume the way the snake is positioned, there's no way I'm getting up the stairs through it.
You would have to either tumble or overrun it. Of course, you can also just jump up and grab the railing and pull yourself over if you like, but you might expose yourself to an opportunity attack doing so.
That is okay. I will sit here and I will produce the whacking stick and I will start whacking away at the snake in front of me. So
that certainly connects as you whack it, damaging the snake. That will also connect.
Bada boom.
Wounding it again.
Key point, flurry of blows, no astral arms, but 2 basic unarmed strikes.
Okay. That will connect. The second one, however, will miss.
Okay. And I will hold my ground and... Kurtu, get behind me! Jesus.
Okay, you strike the snake several times. So basically what I'm assuming is one of you is in the space like just to the west, the other one's just to the east for ease of play. So Kurtu, you're within 5 feet of the snake at the moment, as is Josephine. What would you like to do?
Run first. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see, magic missile level 3 at the snake.
All right, go ahead and post that, and we'll see how much damage the snake takes. All right, so level 3 you said. Did it prompt you to pick the level?
No, it didn't. I don't know what I pushed magic missile like I think I normally do. I'll just
give
take
yourself
it away,
back
but...
a level 1 slot, take away a level 3, and I will count that damage times 5 then.
Done on the spell stuff.
All right, so as 5 magic missiles sweep around, striking unerringly into the snake, yes, you see it sort of like 5 mini explosions as each one of these batters into the snake and wounds it. All right, we move to Gale's turn, who's on the stairs here. Gale, actually, you guys should have had to do this too, but I missed you guys, so we'll skip it. We'll assume luck was on your side. Gale, you're on the stairs. You do manage to maintain your footing here. Your turn.
I'm gonna yell, tell everyone down their deck we're under attack. Where's Marlin?
Help, help, there's baddies up here.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna free action draw my sword, and I'm gonna swing at the snake.
You slash out at the snake, but your blade bounces off of its flesh. The second one manages to pierce through it, wounding it.
I'm gonna try to trip it.
Sure.
I get I roll a 1. Great.
All right, so I'll take that additional damage. You try to trip the snake, but it doesn't seem to have any effect as it is currently wrapped around the railing.
That's
Okay.
a snake.
Well, at least I add my die to it.
That is true. That is 1 point of additional damage on that one. Again, low roll, but yes, absolutely extra damage always helps. Okay, this time the snake is here. Once again, Kurtu, it seems to want to latch onto you, and you notice that it leaps forward trying to bite you once again. Another defensive roll, please. This time you notice it coming and you manage to dodge out of the way as its mouth snaps next to you, those jaws, with quite a bit of force, and then it retracts. As we move to Leroy's turn.
Alrighty, Leroy is now going to draw his battle axe, and he's going to step forward, and with 2 hands, he is going to try to chop off the snake's head. I'm a hero point it. I got some. Why not?
Okay. Yes, that will certainly connect as the battle axe pierces into the creature, getting through that thick, snaky skin and wounding it.
Second attack, we'll do the same thing. We'll do another little hero point two-handed combo.
Yes, that will easily connect with the snake, wounding it near death.
Righty. Forgot to do the acrobatics check. You want me to do it now, Adam?
Yes, please. Yep, maintain your footing, no worries.
Okie dokie. Alright, I think that's everything I got. I don't have any extra attacks, so end my turn there.
All right, you notice this top of the round, actually. Oh, actually, you know what? Based on our timing here, let's go ahead and pause here, guys. We'll take our 15-minute break, and we'll come back on the other side. All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of our session. The group is in the thick of a combat, and we will pick up where we left off. So, group, this summoned creature where you saw this object shatter, and suddenly this airy creature appears. It is going to fly. You notice that it flies, and as it does, it moves very quickly to the south as that air seems to be pushing on it strongly. As it flies, oh yeah, this is going to be fun with the teleport script. As it flies to here, and it's technically going to be, actually what I'm going to do is put it here. Okay, it is going to be in this space above Leroy, and Leroy, as it gets to here, you're going to notice as it is above you and all around you, in fact, it is going to slam down upon you, and I will need 2 defense rolls, please.
Alright, I don't have my shield out right now, so this is just 18.
Alright, so we're taking 2 off of that. The first one will hit, the second one you do manage to evade. As this creature slams into you, you will suffer 14 points of bludgeoning damage. So you notice the creature is essentially all around you in your space and attached to the ship itself, on the ground as best as it can. Okay, we move to Syl. Syl, you feel this strong pressure of this air continuing to push you back. You are currently 15 feet off map. What would you like to do?
I'll move forward 30. That'll put me there. Is that right?
That looks right to me, yeah. 15 back on, and then I think you got 5 more, and then that would be your full 30.
And then I'm going to bonus action Blessing of the Raven Queen, which is my like racial teleport thing.
Okay, yeah.
So is this entire deck flat?
For the most part, yep.
Blessing of the Raven Queen to there. That was my bonus action.
We've actually got that built in as a usage for you, so I see you took one off, but next time feel free to just click that attack and it will burn one for you.
Gotcha.
All right, so yes, you then move through the darkness and suddenly appear on the other side. So you're on a railing right now. You're also flying, so give me an idea. You're just flying right above the railing, correct?
Yeah, just like ground level or whatever. My feet aren't actually touching the ground, if that makes sense.
Yes, okay, I'm with you.
And then I'm going to come in slashing twice with my action here.
That will connect.
And second swing.
That will connect as well. All right, you slash into the snake twice, drawing blood from it. So as you are still flying, you find yourself shunted back 10 feet. You are currently flying just above the snake. As you're just above the snake, an easy reach for it, it is going to leap through the air to try to grab upon you, Syl. Give me a defense roll, please. Nice. This will count as a fumble for the creature. So go ahead and roll a melee fumble. All right, so the snake misses quite a bit and is quite embarrassed. You notice its head kind of moves in a very sad fashion, but it does not connect.
Way to embarrass him.
All right, we move up to this guy's turn. We get our typical roll 20 lag. Okay, let's see. What is he going to do? What looks fun that he can do here? Alright, for starters, as he's right here at this edge of the ship, I'm going to roll a check for him. He is going to fall prone as the ship is sort of rocking him about. He will spend half of his movement to stand up, and then he is going to cast a spell. Alright, you're going to notice as he waves his hands, a ball of fire suddenly appears. Alright, he is going to place this right next to Kurtu and Josephine, who are down there. And you're going to notice it is going to leap down below, trying to land on Josephine. And with that happening, Josephine, I will need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Roll 20 is lagging.
It is indeed for me as well. Alright, so you managed to evade the worst of this, suffering 4 points of fire damage, as the sphere is now, sphere of fire is now next to both you and Kurtu. I'm going to get a token on the map here. We're playing a little bit fast and loose, as we're always, right between those steps up or steps down. It makes things a little bit interesting, but we will move on to Josephine's turn as I grab a token.
All right. Can I see the air elemental, or excuse me, I don't. My character doesn't know what this is. Can I see the summoned creature from where I am?
Yes. As you look up, I would say you can see just the edge of it.
Is it within 10 feet of me?
It is.
So then I will use my bonus action to bring out the astral arms. So both it and the snake will potentially be affected by my astral fisting. 23 versus Dex.
Alright, that will, and I think we rolled this once for each, right? So go ahead and throw one more, so that will hit the snake.
Okay. And then probably
Versus dexterity, that will not affect the elemental.
okay, so I will roll damage for the snake, but it's probably going to die. So let's roll 2d6. This is force damage.
Yes, that will indeed be enough damage to kill the snake. It is still tied there to the railing as it's all wrapped up, but you notice its head slumps to the ground.
And do you want me to make an acrobatics check? We keep forgetting to do this.
Yes, please. At the beginning of your turn, acrobatics check, yes.
I will not roll a second natural one. I will not roll a second natural one. We're fine.
You are indeed, yes.
Alright, so I will start coming up the stair. So where's the ball of fire relative to me right now?
It is actually going to be just to your south.
Okay. So moving north gets me away from its burny thing.
Yes.
So I will now. Do I have a good angle on the elemental now that I'm up the stairs?
You do, yes.
Okay. With the reminder that my arms have 10 feet of reach. So I will make a swing at him with the astral arm. 18?
That will connect.
And I will attempt to throw a stunning strike on top of this. So I'm going to give myself one key point because it spent it twice when we rolled Astral Fisting twice.
Okay.
And then
Yep.
I will deduct another one for this. So this is against his Constitution.
Okay, so 9, and is that bludgeoning or is that force?
That is force damage.
Okay, so he will be wounded by that. Okay,
I should
and then,
put a macro for both of them.
yeah, an attack, it might be easier. Okay, and then this 24 is against his Constitution to see if you stun him. Yes, that will work. He is indeed stunned.
All right, so now that he is stunned and incapacitated, he cannot react to what I do next. So I still have one more attack, so I will move my 10th foot, 15, 20, 25, get up in this guy's face, and I will make my second attack at him with my... I don't whack him with my staff. I'm going to attempt to whack him with my staff.
All right, your staff does indeed connect.
That is 12 bludgeoning to him, and potentially a concentration check if he is concentrating on that fireball.
He is indeed, yeah. So 1 second here. So you're going to throw me a D20. Yes, he will drop concentration on the flaming sphere. As you strike him, however, he is going to use his reaction of self-defense casting to cast a cantrip upon you. I will need a defensive roll from you, please.
Okay. Defense roll. 22.
Yes, you manage to evade as he reaches his hand out towards you, but you are able to avoid that touch.
Okay, and I did not see his health go down. Is that a roll 20 bug, or...
Nope, that's a DM being slow bug.
Okay. All good. And then I am good here.
All right, we move to Kurtu's turn.
All right, first I'll make that acrobatics check.
Yes. No problems.
All right, and Adam, just for theater of the mind, I'm assuming I really technically can't see him right now, or how does that work because I'm kind of down?
That is correct. So you're about 7 feet down, so you're looking straight. You would just see the stairs from here.
All right, and I can see him from here, right?
You're looking past Josephine, but yes, you can see him.
All right, magic missile fireballs again at level 3. I call them magic missile fireballs. Again, it didn't ask me what spell level, Adam, so I'm going to go ahead and just cast it at level 3 and do the same thing we just did.
Yep, so no worries. Okay, so I will deduct that times 5 from him. All right, those 5 missiles arc right around Josephine and strike into him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Originally, I was wondering if it was a concentration on this guy, but I know he already had the other concentration. So, anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and... Adam, I'm going to move down 3. So just to let you know.
All right, you step back below Dax. All right.
And I'm going to yell to these guys, I'm going to tell them what I saw. There, it looks like there's a marshmallow or a elemental upstairs, and there's an evil snake. We need your help.
This is Marlin, by the way. Have we seen him?
That's what I was going to ask.
Not since the battle has started. Okay, so let's see. Kurtu, as you step down below, you do notice... yes, you notice that nothing quite yet, in fact. We'll move to Gale's turn.
I hold my footing, I guess, at acrobat.
Yep, you're good with that number.
So yeah, Adam. So no one was driving the boat up here on the main deck.
No, because the boat is actually oared from the guys down below. So you did see Marlin walking around the boat before all of this occurred. He would spend some time up here just kind of facing forward, looking, seeing what's going on. He would dip down below, talk to the men, but you haven't seen him since this battle rung out.
All right, I'm still going to yell to remind everyone, yell for Marlin. And then here I'm going to attack, because what else do I do?
All right, you slash out at the snake, and yes, that will connect. All right, that will wound him as you connect a second time.
Okay, and that's my 2 attacks.
Okay, this guy is dead, but Kurtu, down below, you notice kind of a strange set of events all of a sudden. These guys in the southeast corner are all still panicking. You notice this water is seemingly getting larger. They're kind of moving around and very much in fits, you might say. However, you notice one of these oarsmen actually stands up where he was sitting, and you notice he has a bow prepped in hand. As he turns to look at you, you notice a little strangeness here, as perhaps having not noticed this, and Josephine not making her perception check when she was down below, this individual actually has like scaly skin on his face.
Even if I had, I wouldn't have been racist enough to assume he was a bad guy just because of the way he looked.
That is true, yes. Alright, as this scaly-skinned humanoid looks towards you, Kurtu, with bow in hand, you notice he pulls back the bowstring and fires a shot at you, and I will need a defensive roll, please.
Attack one of the oarsmen. There's many to choose from.
Yes, you see this arrow coming and you manage to duck underneath, and it simply strikes the stairs and sticks there. As it does, you notice as you glance that way, a strange greenish liquid seems to be connected to it. The one just next to you, similarly here, Kurtu, he actually moves up next to you with a blade in hand. And you notice the same similar patch of snaky skin. As he steps up face to face with you, he is going to strike out with his scimitar twice. I will need 2 defensive rolls. The first one you managed to evade, and the second one as well. We'll ignore that third one.
Yeah, there was just some lag.
No worries at all.
Yeah, I saw it too.
All right, so that takes care of all their turns, and we then move to Leroy's turn.
I know, theater of the mind with the front of the boat here. Do I think I have room beside Josephine to her east?
I would say you would be balancing precariously on the railing.
Okay, so I wouldn't have her footing on the ground?
Correct. And start with acrobatics at the beginning of your turn, just so we see what happens there.
Okay.
You manage to maintain your footing.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm just gonna scoot a little bit back and engage with this elemental, and I'm gonna shout over my shoulder at Josephine, "Hey, take him alive, so we can ask him some questions. Why is he attacking us? Yada yada." And then as I'm like monologuing, I'm gonna take some swings at the elemental with my great axe. 2 hands.
These are at advantage because he is stunned.
All right, yes, the first one will miss, even though he's stunned. The second one will manage to connect.
Nice. Cool. Is it like a extra crit or anything? I don't know how
Nope,
stunned
nothing
works.
extra here, and this is just a regular battle axe, correct?
Yeah, nothing special about the battle axe. I don't, I'm not just openly wielding that Dragon Slayer sword.
Fair enough. You notice your standard run-of-the-mill battle axe slashes through the airy creature. Doesn't seem particularly effective, as it has resistance to this strike.
Okay, and I see that it's all airy and not paying attention, and I am going to try to go help out my buddy Kurtu after hearing him shout. I don't know where I would appear on this map. Oh, on Kurtu? Oh,
Well, we have some. There we go. Looks like it really
There it
lagged
is.
hardcore.
yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it?
I saw the thing move, and then you in the water, and then suddenly it made you over there. So yes. Now, guys, keep in mind this is a narrow stairway. So as you enter this space, if you wish to move one step back, I can certainly put you one step back. But you would actually be in Kurtu's space at this point.
Okay, but that was only 25 of movement, so I think, right, it was 5, 10, 15, 20. No, it was only 20 to get here. So could I keep moving to this side?
You would have to step past the enemy as long as you're willing to step on the bench and around. Sure.
Yeah, so I go like that and then go like this.
Yep, that'll work.
Cool. Yep, then that's what I'll do. And yeah, that's my turn.
Okay, top of the round. 2 more of these individuals down below reveal themselves to be something other than simple rowers. All right, and we are at the top of the round with the airy creature. It is currently stunned, and because it's stunned and it cannot grasp onto the boat or whatnot, the air is going to push it backwards, where it is shunted backwards 10 feet. And it's stunned, so I think it can still move.
No, it cannot. I don't think so.
I think speed is 0.
Let me look it up.
Double. Yeah, I always forget exactly what stun. Stun creatures incapacitated. Oh, can't move.
Can't move.
Okay, speak only falteringly. Incapacitated. I think the incapacitated takes away its actions.
Yep.
Can't take actions or reactions. Okay, so yeah, basically there's not much it can do here, so we will call that the end of its turn, and we will move to Syl.
I will move here and start slashing at the snake.
All right, you float over to that side, taking that flanking position with Gale. That will connect. All right, as your blade carves into the creature, wounding it again.
Second attack.
Will connect as well. Wounding it badly.
And then bonus action attack with the other end.
That will connect as well. And this will be enough on the third slash to slay the snake.
And then I will use the rest of my movement to lie down here.
All right, remaining in the air or landing on the deck?
I'm gonna stay in the air, but again, like, at deck level in the air.
Okay. All right, at the end of your turn, you are flung back 20 feet, Syl, as you get smashed into this side. Not enough to deal any mechanical damage, but definitely feels uncomfortable. All right, we move up to this guy here. He's got a whole bag of tricks. Let's see what he's going to do. Okay, yes.
I don't like how hard you're thinking about this.
He's got so many options,
I know.
He is actually going to disappear, you're going to notice here, Josephine, in a silvery mist.
It's okay, that's his leveled spell.
And he is then going to, from here, reach out and try to grasp upon Kurtu with his hand. Kurtu, give me a defensive roll, please.
I feel like everyone's picking on the poor kobold.
Now you know how it feels to play Brandel.
You're rolling amazing, though, so once again, you manage to evade that strike.
as I think I have the very first major injury roll of the game.
Oh!
All
Just
right.
don't drop to 0 and it won't matter.
There you go. There you go.
All right, making its way over to here is another one of these creatures with bow in hand. It is going to line up a shot at Leroy. Leroy, defensive roll, please. All right, as the arrow flies, you still don't have the shield, right? So I'm taking 2 off that?
Yep. I don't know if you're going to add 2 because of cover or anything, but nope. No shield right now. Just crazy eyes and great axe, and he's kind of sick to his stomach.
16. Okay, so this will miss as you notice the arrow flies high. Kurtu, you're going to notice another one of these comes around, blade in hand, and tries to slash at you twice. I'll need 2 defensive rolls. The first one manages to catch you, Kurtu, dealing 2 points of slashing damage as I set the enemy back to public rolling. The second one, you manage to evade. And we move to Josephine.
Alright, turning around, do I see where the spellcaster went?
You don't see him at the moment, no.
Do I hear the sounds of battle down below?
I would say you hear the sounds of battle all around you. But yes, you know that some of your friends went down and they yelled stuff.
And I will pursue. So 5, 10, 15.
All right, so
20.
once you get to the top of the stairs, you're going to notice down below Kurtu, and this guy is essentially on the stairs right next to Kurtu. Oh,
Can
yeah,
I-
acrobatics as well, Josephine.
Oh. Be okay.
I'm sure you'll be fine with your +8 or whatever.
We say that. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Was the first to fail. Okay. Is there a space for me to step downward?
Technically, yes, but because of the teleport script, I'm going to say stay right where you are, and we'll assume you're right next to him.
Who am I next to?
The enemy spellcaster.
I will attack out at him. With
Okay.
my quarterstaff first. 16.
That will hit.
I'll attempt a stunning strike on him. So, against Khan.
And just to remind me, stunning strike can be used with the quarterstaff?
Stunning strike can be used with any melee monk weapon, including
Nice.
my unarmed strikes.
All right, so that is stunned. Yes, that will work. He is indeed stunned.
Alright, so now I will follow up with a second attack against him, now at advantage.
Indeed, yes. That
Any
will miss.
Flanking bonus? I don't know where anyone is.
No, I'm going to say no based on the current position where everybody's at.
Okay, I will make 2 attacks with my Astral Fist with Flurry of Blows, so going down to 2 key now. So here comes those, both also at advantage.
That will certainly hit. Second one misses.
At advantage?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Does he
That
stun?
will hit, yes.
Yeah. So there's 18 more force damage on him.
All right, yes, he is hit, and he is not looking too great.
Is there any room... I know we said the staircase is a little wide. Is there any room for me to squeeze down in there?
I would say to move through this first space, because he's basically at the top of the stairs, you would have to tumble or overrun. So you can do that as a bonus action or action, but you've already spent all your actions, so
I
no.
spent my bonus action as well. Okay, even though he's stunned and automatically fails contested checks?
Let me double check stun again real quick.
He's incapacitated, so...
So incapacitated means he can't take any actions.
Which is the one that makes them... Oh, yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, this
I
says
guess
he
he
automatically fails
yeah.
strength and dex saving throws, but again, you use
But
your
I would,
action
yeah,
to push through him.
I would have to use the thing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good here then.
Just knock
Okay.
him out, Josephine.
So at the end of your turn, Josephine, the stun ends on the airy creature. So I'm going to take that off
Yes,
as we
it
move to Kurtu.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and make my acrobatics.
Yes. Oof. All right, you do get jostled here, Kurtu, and fall to your feet.
All right, I'm going to stand up because it doesn't matter. I'm not moving anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, right? So, all right, I am going to go ahead and use a, because everyone's right next to me, I'm going to use a level 2 magic missile. I can't believe I'm not using fire, but I don't have anything that...
Fire on
Anyway.
a ship? I think you're making a smart choice.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, fireball. No, magic missile level 2, just in case it doesn't give me that option again on the main baddie to my north.
Okay, sure. All right, so level 2, so we'll take that times 4. Okay, those missiles pound into him, wounding him once again. He is looking pretty badly hurt at this point.
All right, and as a bonus action, I'm going to use my Draconic Cry.
Okay. Go ahead and post that to remind your teammates what that does for them. Okay, so this will affect the spellcaster and the 2 enemies just to your east and south.
And then I'm going to say, please don't beat me, and I'll end my turn.
Okay, we move to Gale's turn.
Oof. So I fall prone.
You do fall prone, yes.
All right, 15 to stand up. Now, well, it doesn't matter now. Okay, 15, so then there's 5. How high up, before I move, how high up is this guy?
He is on the ground level. You notice he was stunned previously, so he just kind of floated backwards against the wind pressure. But now it looks like he's regained his, I don't even know which one. He's not stunned anymore.
Yeah, but I can hit him in melee.
You can, yes. He's on the ground level.
All right, there we go. I'm going to step in right there and hack away.
You miss on the first attack. Second attack manages to connect.
I'm going to try to trip him.
He cannot be tripped.
I know. It's the only maneuver I have that actually gives extra damage.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm taking the trip, the dueling, and the slashing all together and then halving it as he is resistant to your strike.
Yeah.
Okay, this snake is dead. I'm going to go ahead and remove him from initiative as we go down below. All right, this one's turn is going to hop up, or actually, you're going to stay there and fire a shot at Leroy. Leroy, defensive roll as this arrow flies towards you. Yes, you managed to evade that easily. Okay, this one here is... let's see. I think this one will slash out at Kurtu twice. 2 defensive rolls, please, Kurtu. You evade both of these. That second one just by a hair as you move to Leroy. All right, you maintained your footing. And for those of you guys wondering, down below, these creatures look to be very well adapted to the seafaring lifestyle, and this is why they're not making checks.
I am going to move to this spot, and I am going to make my first attack on this creature. I got advantage because of the Josephine, or the Kurtu yell.
Yep.
So 2-handed battle axe swing.
That will connect with advantage.
Cool. I'm a smiter. Let's see.
All right, blade and radiant energy combine to wound the creature.
Cool. And then second attack, same creature. And no smite this time, just a normal little smack.
All right, and she is wounded again.
Cool. Bonus action. I am going to cast Sanctuary on Kurtu.
Okay.
And it really just looks like he kind of like spits this like mud loogie into his hand and then kind of smears it on Kurtu, and it kind of looks like a mirror, and it's like refractive, and it gets really luminescent.
All right, top of the next round, we notice more water is rushing in down below as additional members of the crew begin to panic, especially with this combat going on around them. All right, above decks, we have the airy creature's turn. He is going to leave your reach, Gale. You can take an opportunity attack if you wish. You slash out, but do not connect. All right, the airy creature just teleported. But the airy creature will fly up to here, and as it gets into your space, Josephine, you're going to notice that it flings all of this air around you, and I will need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Okay, I get plus. I haven't changed because my arms are out. I can use wisdom for this, so
Okay.
I have not changed the points on my sheet. Just add 4 to this roll.
All right, you will succeed on this, so you're not flung away, but you will suffer, I believe, half damage. Half the bludgeoning damage, all right. So you'll suffer 5 points of bludgeoning damage from it spinning around on top of you. It is down, essentially it is right on top of you, but on the ground, if that makes sense. And we move to Sill's turn.
So we'll fly over here and start slashing at the air elemental.
All right, yes, make your attacks.
I cursing it in Terran as I do this, and rock is better than wind.
And it doesn't understand, Terran, but I imagine it's cursing you back in Orin. Oof, that will count as a fumble. Please go ahead and roll a fumble, Sill. Your weapon slips from your hand. 10 dexterity check, so not saving throw. Just click on dexterity on your sheet for just a straight up dex check. You do manage to maintain your grip on the weapon as it slips out of your hand, but you grasp onto it.
That has no effect on a second attack, right? I'm reading it.
Correct, yep.
It's a second attack.
Second attack will connect. All right, remind me, your blade is considered magical, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right, so your packed blade cuts through this creature, effectively wounding it.
And then I just move bonus action attack.
That will miss. All right, end of your turn. Reminder, you're still in the air, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, you will be flung back 30 feet. From the pressure of the air. All right, we move to this guy's turn, so he can't take actions, reactions, or moves. So I think that leaves him with basically nothing, so he will just skip that turn. And we'll move to this one's turn. This one's going to pop around to here and step back 1 and shoot at you, Leroy, as an arrow flies your way. Once again, you managed to evade this straight. Man, you guys got hot dice tonight on the defense rolls. Good going. All right, we move to this one's turn, blade in hand, and she will attempt to attack Kurtu. So, Leroy, give me a spell effect roll, and we'll see if she is able to strike at Kurtu. She is, so she will take a couple of strikes at Kurtu. Kurtu, 2 defense rolls, please. First one will be a fumble. Go ahead and roll that melee fumble. We'll see how this does to her. I swear this combat was going to be a lot harder. You guys just rolling too well. Let's see.
It's pretty dicey.
Go ahead and throw me a d20, Kurtu. I'm going to take the inverse, right? You want higher is better, and I'm going to take the inverse as her roll. Yeah, she drops that weapon for sure as it falls right in your square. No longer having a weapon in hand, not much she's going to do at the moment, so that will be the end of her turn as we move to Josephine's turn. Certainly currently surrounded by this airy creature.
That's fine. Is it like distracting me in any way? Like, if I were to attack something else, would I have any kind of mechanical disadvantage?
If you made a ranged attack, it would be an enemy next to you, but other than that, you don't detect any kind of special effect.
Alright, then the stunned boy to my south. I still can't see him because of the way the map is laid out, but I'm assuming he's still there.
He is, yes.
I'm going to whack out at him at advantage with my staff,
Okay.
and I will declare non-lethal.
Yeah, I was gonna shout again.
Oh, got that out real quick before that crit. All right, go ahead and roll that bludgeoning crit.
Okay. This bludgeoning crit.
All right, we just take maximum damage and push the creature 15. You're not going to be able to push him up the stairs, I'm sure. So I would say you can knock him into Kurtu if you want, or you can, I'll say you can knock him prone.
I will knock him prone.
All right, so maximum damage. Go ahead and post your damage so I can see what your max will be.
It's 1d8 plus 5.
So 13. All right, so you smash into him solidly. He drops to the ground unconscious, non-lethally, and prone, of course.
Okay. Is there any other enemy within 10 feet of me besides the air elemental?
Yes, there is a snaky patch skin woman just in front of Kurtu, so you would have to attack around Kurtu.
You, as a reminder, though, there is advantage on that because of my draconic cry.
That is okay. I think I want to go for the air elemental who's all up in my business. Can I now step 5 feet down out of it?
I will say yes, but don't actually move your token. We're going to assume you're now in the space the guy was. But yes, if you move your token, it's going to teleport you, of course.
So I will make my second attack with my Astral Fist against the air elemental.
Okay.
24.
That'll certainly connect. And this is force damage. Yeah, okay.
It's force damage, and I will throw another stunning strike on it.
That seems fully effective. Go ahead and roll your stunning strike.
God. Go. 16?
Ooh, let me double check. He is stunned.
Alright, then I will make my bonus action regular attack, no flurry of blows or anything. I will just take another swing with my Astral Fist at the air elemental. Now at advantage.
That'll certainly hit.
Okay. Or another 6 force.
All right, wounded once again.
That is my turn.
All right, Kurtu, it is your turn now.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and, shoot. I am going to...
I was going to say, what would you like to shoot?
Yeah, well, I have to stick with Magic Missile because it is what it is.
Remember, you are Sanctuary too, so...
Right, but standing still doesn't help me any, you know? I mean, thanks, but I don't know what to do with Sanctuary right now, you know? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cast Magic Missile. I'm going to cast a level 1, all on the one to my south.
All right, go ahead and post that as the 3 magic arrows that look fiery in nature flash out and all connect against her.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and... So that'll drop the Sanctuary, right?
Correct.
Oh, and also I need to roll to see if my acrobatics.
Yes.
Which I also did not do. But I didn't
even
move,
if you did,
so,
yeah, that's what I would say. It wouldn't matter at all. Yep, you're good, Kurtu.
Yeah. Alrighty, that's where I was actually debating was to roll a level 2 or a level 3, you know. I mean a level 1 or a level 2. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and I will just end my turn.
Okay. And we move to Gale's turn, who starts off with an acrobatics check. Yes, maintains his footing.
I'll move there 30, and I'm going to smack it. Run over there and smack it.
All right, attacks at advantage as it is stunned. First connects. Wounding it. Second connects. Also wounding it. All right, down below, this one who has bow in hand. We'll step up to here and try firing at you again, Leroy. This time the attack manages to connect. That is going to deal 7 piercing damage and 9 poison damage. Okay, this one's turn. This one still has her weapon in hand, so she will slash out at Kurtu twice. 2 defensive rolls, Kurtu. You evade both of them very nimbly. And then it is Leroy's turn.
Alrighty. So, taking that damage did hurt a little bit. So, Leroy is going to strap up his shield real quick. That'll give him, or take away his action.
So he dons his shield as an action, okay.
And don't think Channel Divinity is a bonus. Nope. So he's just going to stay within 5 feet of Kurtu and ready himself for the next round.
All right, his shield is now equipped.
With that damage I just took, was any of that a weapon? It was an arrow, right?
Yes, yep, piercing
So-
and then poison.
Gotcha. So I need to give myself 3 back for Heavy Armor Master.
Yep, that would do it, yeah. All right, Elemental's turn. He's stunned, so he'll do nothing as we move to Syl.
If I can get to this spot with my movement, is that like over a hole?
You would be. I'll ask you don't put your token there because it will teleport you, but if you want to say you're there, yes, absolutely.
Alright,
Just
yeah,
move
so
yourself right next
right
to
there.
it.
And I am also there, so he is floating above me.
Yes.
And I will slash at the air elemental.
I think it's hilarious. Every time we have battles where there's like a stairway or a ladder or something, the battle always centers on that object.
Would you rather us be at the edge of the map this time?
I know. Well, that's true. I guess there's other ways.
Yeah,
to
look at your
Do it
options.
that way.
We're all
You
15
knew as soon as you started messing with that teleport script, everybody was going to stack on it. No
I
matter
did.
what
I
you
somehow I
We
knew
wanted
it.
to test it
You're
out.
totally right, Josh. I was like, I know this is gonna happen, but I gotta try it anyway. All right, so you're flying above there. Go ahead and make your attack, Syl. That'll connect. Yes, as that blade slices through the air. That'll be enough damage to dispel the creature as it just wisps away.
All right, so can I see down into the deck from where I am?
If
Or
you
under the-
look right overhead and peer downward, or actually you're above it, so if you stare right downwards, you see Kurtu.
All right, so he's directly under me. All
Yes.
right. Yeah, that was my total movement. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right, so regardless of how much the air pushes you backward, it would essentially just knock you right up against that mast, so no worries. We'll assume you are there at the mast. Okay, this guy is unconscious, so his turn is skipped. We move to this one's turn, who is going to move around to here and fire an arrow at Leroy. That one, you managed to bring your shield up in time and intercept that arrow. This one no longer has a weapon in hand, so instead you're going to notice as she motions with her hand, casting a spell on Leroy. Leroy, Constitution saving throw, please. Failing this save. Oh, I finally get to try this new thing out I built. Hang on a second.
That's 12 pass. I know DCs aren't necessarily super low like that, but it doesn't add that too.
I think that's already added to your sheet, isn't it not?
That was a 6 plus my con, which is 4. So it would be 12 total.
Okay, then you do succeed, but I'm going to post this anyway just to make sure it works. So don't worry about it.
Adam wants to play with this.
Don't worry,
toy.
just target me. I only have a +1.
I built a template of all the cantrips that automatically takes the character's level into consideration and updates the damage, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. But anyway, so you don't suffer that damage as we then move to Josephine.
All right, nothing more up here. Can I now move onto the space to see what's happening down below?
Yes, as soon as you step there, you will be sharing a space with Kurtu, though.
Oh, I thought I was already there. I mistaken?
I mean,
I don't know what's
technically
happening.
you are. We're trying to, like, a little theater of the mind this, so mechanically
Okay.
when you step there, you're going to be on top of Kurtu.
I will step here, and I will probably end up being able to move afterwards because that guy looks quite hurt. I can't see because of the way the lighting is. I can't see this guy's health bar. How does he look?
Not hurt at all.
Okay, then I will. Does he have a weapon in hand still, or is this
No.
the one that? Okay, then because she does not have a weapon, I will step 5 feet here so I'm not squeezing with Kurtu. And then I will make my staff attack at this girl in the flank with Leroy here.
Okay.
So we're going to attempt to smack.
That'll
That will
hit.
certainly hit.
Yes, and that takes her out.
All right. And which ones have bows? These guys down here?
Correct.
Then I will walk up into her face and start swinging away. Hey, it's what I do, okay? I got the dragon, and I'm taking all these too.
Hey, have at it, man.
That will probably miss, I'm guessing.
Believe it or not, that hits.
Really?
Yes,
Okay,
unfortunately, not
so
much
that's
armor on
good.
these guys.
And then I will make one additional monk unarmed strike against her as my standard martial arts feature with
Okay.
my astral fist.
That'll hit as well.
Or 9 force.
Yes, wounding her again.
And I am okay here.
Okay, Kurtu's turn.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll my acrobatics.
All right, you maintain your footing.
I'm gonna take.
Damn it, I keep forgetting.
I'm gonna take the dodge action.
Okay.
I'm gonna move 2 down there. She'll get her opportunity attack.
She
I'll
has
go
no
ahead.
weapon in hand, so no opportunity attack.
And then Adam, I'm going to use my Draconic Cry, my last one, as my bonus action,
Okay, that will affect all three of them.
and that'll end my turn. That was strategy, people.
That was good round, yeah, for sure. Okay,
I also can no longer see my own health bar, but I'm okay.
that might just be you. There shouldn't be any dynamic lighting right there. Gale's turn.
Yeah, you still. It looks like you still have 4 hit points. You're good.
I have 34.
So I moved 5 there, Adam. What do I see?
You see a snaky-like guy lying prone and obviously unconscious, and then you see down a bit further below Kurtu and maybe the edge of Leroy.
So I can get down there, I guess, right?
There, yes, yep.
All right, here I go. I'm going to teleport. Whoa, that is cool.
New tricks, new tricks.
A lot of health bars down here.
All the crew guys.
All right, I'm saying I'm here. Which one do I hit first?
The one next to you, genius.
Very well. Behind me?
Yeah, them too.
No, the girl. The girl.
Okay.
So this is meant to be like a half wall of stairs. I think to make it easier, I'm just going to remove this dynamic lighting line.
Oh. Yeah, this one. I mean, okay, then I have her head.
And remember, your
That will
rolls
connect.
are at. Remember, they're at advantage if it helps at all.
Your blade slashes in, wounding her.
And she's standing?
She is, yes.
Great.
He's like, I want to trip somebody this battle.
There we go. Let's see what we can do.
Uh-oh, only rolled an 11, though. I'm pretty sure she can beat that. Hang on, let me see. Yes, that will not affect her, but she will take the extra damage. 22. Wow. Oh, that she puts her almost slain. She literally had 23. All right, this one's turn. Kurtu, do you currently have a weapon in hand?
No, I have my little stick with a dragon tooth on it.
All right, so since she has a bow, she's going to step away. Josephine, would you like to take an opportunity attack?
Sure would.
That's at advantage too. Remember.
Yeah.
I know what he's thinking.
You know what? I'm actually not going to.
I figured as much. All right, and then she's going to shoot at Josephine. Josephine,
yeah, she
defensive
is.
roll.
Defensive roll.
You manage to easily evade that as the arrow flies by you.
It's like we're fighting stormtroopers down here.
Pretty much, right? All right, Leroy's turn.
The A team, if any of you remember that show. Everybody shot bullets and nobody hit anybody.
Right.
All right, axe in hand, he is going to try to chop at this one in front of him. Just a one hand now because he's got a shield.
That hits and slays her even at minimum damage.
All right, and then he is going to turn and hop up and then hop down and then hop up and then come down with his axe on this one.
That will hit. All right, we will assume just for ease of play at this point that you guys gotten used enough about the ship now that you don't have to make those acrobatics checks anymore as we move to Syl.
I am going to lie down in there.
All right, you fly down below, and that is what you see.
I'm gonna yell, "What the nine hells is going on in here?"
There's a lot of people down here.
I mean, like, I know I'm the player who the hostiles are, but I can still tell like who the hostiles are in this.
They don't.
People.
The one with weapons. The ones that are shooting us.
They're the ones with bows aiming at us.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty clear to you, Syl, because two of them have bows in hand. The rest of them, especially all the ones with the red rage icons, they're all like panicked crew members. The rest are holding onto the oars for dear life. So it becomes pretty obvious.
Just don't hit the one behind me. They're particularly interesting.
Don't hit the Dracorn. Whatever you do, don't hit the Dracorn.
Can I get there? Is anything preventing me from doing that?
No, especially not with your fly speed. You could easily fly over there.
So I'm gonna come in slashing at this one.
That will connect.
And remember, you're at advantage too. So if you put it at I don't know if you put it at advantage, or whatever, just in case you roll a nat 20.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. If you want to roll a second attack, we can see if it was a crit. All right, no crit on that one, but you can make another attack. That will hit, and with 1 HP left, she will also drop.
Go over here and let me check the wording on this real quick. Yeah, and I will bonus action attack her with the other end of the dual bladed.
That'll be a crit. Go ahead and roll a, I think that's slashing, right? Slashing crit?
Yeah.
Ooh, unfortunately not a crit. Go ahead and roll damage as normal.
Edge.
Was that a second attack anyway?
Crits can happen anytime. It's only fumbles that only happen on the first.
That's right.
Sorry, that's wrong on the damage, and I rolled the wrong one. It's supposed to be 1d4, not 2d4 on that.
All right, I'll just take off the second d4 then, so I'll just give her that much back. All right, so yes, that slash hits as well. She's wounded. Down here, no longer feeling the pressure of that wind, so no pushback. That guy is unconscious. We move to her. She's not liking where she's at right at the moment, but doesn't have too much hope here. She will try to hit the flying guy with a quick spell, though. So she's going to point her hand out at you, Syl, and try to hit you with a poison spray. Con save, please. And you also succeed, suffering no damage and making the DM cry. He doesn't get to use that again. We move to Josephine.
Alright, 5, 10... Can I move under him? Is he still flying?
Syl, did you want to be flying above?
Nah, I'm at ground.
Okay, so he's just off his
Then
feet.
go 5, 10, then I'll squeeze through here if that's okay.
Count that as 10 feet as that panic crew member, but yes.
Not gonna matter. I'm going to make...
Yeah, don't you have like 45 feet anyway, right?
Yeah.
So.
I got enough to maneuver down here. So I will make my 3 attacks at her with my staff, and I will actually do this non-lethally. So I will try to knock her out too.
Okay. That will hit.
1,
Yeah, advantage
2,
and
3.
flanking.
All
Oh, well, I
three
guess-
hit.
Not the like it's the same roll, but we'll roll different damage for that because that was supposed to be a martial a melee. You know what I mean?
Yep, no
Unarmed
worries.
strike. So 11 bludgeoning, 11 bludgeoning. I assume that is enough.
Actually, she has 1 HP left, but the third one will be enough.
All right, so that will be non-lethal, just with a backhand to the back of her head.
All right, well, that will be the last one of any obvious threats. So we will go ahead and end combat here, guys.
Hey, where is Nemo? Shit. Damn it.
Marlin.
Marlin.
Now, where's the fish guy?
Don't worry about it right now. Crew guys, calm down. Patch the fucking holes or whatever. I mean, we're all safe now.
Give me a
Do the
blind
thing
check,
you do.
Josephine, as you try to rally the rowers and convince them to start patching the hole in the side of the boat. No! We're all gonna die! What are you talking about? Get out of my way! And they start pushing and trying to knock you over. Team, does
Fine.
any of you know how to potentially patch a boat? Maybe something to do with carpentry or woodworking or anything along those lines? Or a mending
me-
spell?
Let me find out. Actually, I don't know
No
what
mending spell here.
Necessity is the mother of all invention, so we're gonna figure it out.
I almost took mending, but somebody who's no longer with us anymore asked me not to.
What about the ones who aren't panicking on the left side? Do they look like they might be able to help us?
They
Or are
look
they
like
all
they're...
panicking?
The ones with the red icons are panicking hardcore. These other ones were really nervous, but now that the combat has subsided, it looks like over a little bit of time they start to relax and start to actually move about. And I will say, Josephine, since you're kind of leading this effort, give me one more blind check, please.
Don't yell this time. Just ask nicely.
Guys, it's really important that the boat doesn't sink to the bottom of the ocean. Do we think we can handle this?
That's excellent. That should be like inspiring.
Not with those rolls, though. But
God damn it.
That was literally a 2 on the first roll and a 3 on the second one.
Oh my god.
So unfortunately, as you have a hard time convincing them, they still be very nervous, noticing that they saw these creatures kind of pop up out of nowhere and they were hidden among the crew. This seems to make them even more nervous. So they're I'm going to turn this music down a little bit. It's good music, but a little too distracting. But yeah, so they seem to still quite a bit nervous, and eventually over time, it takes you a while, Josephine, to basically calm them down enough that they realize this is a major problem. There's probably a good, I would say, foot of water on the bottom of the ship at this point, and you can kind of feel it like lilting a bit before eventually they do manage to repair this. During this whole spiel, get rid of that little water sprout. You do notice eventually that Marlin is at the north side of the boat. You see him kind of standing and putting a hand to the back of his head as he looks all groggy, and you can see his face is very red. As you're able to approach him, you notice they knocked me out. And you see he starts looking around and says, "We have to get back above deck and make sure everything's fine."
Well, first I need to bind the hands of this person.
Yes,
him too.
yes, do it. But we gotta get up. I gotta get up.
Does it look
Yeah, I
like
can
he's
do
putting
it.
on a show, Adam, or does he truly look like he just got knocked out?
Give me a blind check, Leroy, as you see if you can detect any deception in his voice. No, none that you detect.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna gag him with like one of Leroy's really old socks. That snake guy.
Okay, fair enough. And I imagine you guys sort of tie his hands up and take the woman above board as well. As we are out of combat, we're no longer like a tactical kind of sense. I'm going to bring us back to this more calming map. You guys can certainly describe what it is that you would like to do, of course. But yes, you guys managed to get back above deck and have your 2 prisoners, who I'm going to assume are bound and gagged.
So before we go up, I'll just ask one of the spellcasters to look in the caster guy's stuff for anything like a component pouch or whatever might look to them like an arcane focus, just to try to take it away from him.
Yeah, and Leroy just begins stripping him down completely. Like he'll rip his robe off, he'll throw his pouch over his shoulder. He'll, he's not afraid to like, go into full nudity. Like in video games where it'd just be a loincloth. That's what he'll do to him.
All right, fair enough. So you strip him down to the bare essentials. You don't find any kind of spell component pouch or any kind of arcane focus, but go ahead and give me a blind check here, Leroy, as you're pulling all this stuff off him to see if you notice anything odd. You do notice that on his hand, like where his arm, there is the tattoo of a snake that wraps around where the hand is, or the mouth of the snake is essentially the palm of his hand.
That's weird. Have you seen that? Anybody know anything about tattoos? Is that like, does it look...
That could be a magical symbol. Chop off his hand!
Are you serious? I mean, I can, but,
Does he deserve to have it?
Morbid question for everyone. How many prisoners do we need to interrogate?
And why do we need him anyway?
Well, if we have two, then we pit them against each other. It's classic. You don't watch crime TV?
No, we don't get that down here, man. But TV sounds awesome in the Feywild. We'll get into that later. But for me, I got a new spell I've been waiting to try. If it works, he'll have to speak the truth. Or he can't really tell a lie. So then maybe we can ask him questions. And then two heads are better than one,
And why do we need him anyway? What are you gonna ask him? Why'd you try to kill us? They're gonna say, because I wanted to. Come on, kill him.
Who sent him? Like they were on the ship already, so they must have been with us this whole journey and just waiting for the right moment. So, it could have been Marland.
So, okay, it sounds like based on this conversation, you want to be having this conversation a bit away from Marlin. Is that safe to say?
Leroy doesn't care.
Okay, so
I don't know about everybody else, but...
So as you guys are all sort of making your way up, if he overhears you say that, you'll see he turns to you and still like bracing the back of his head and kind of wincing. He says, I would say we should keep that one alive. He obviously looks to be the leader of some kind. The other one, you can throw her overboard.
Marlin,
Go ahead.
Marlin, come here. Let me see your head. Make sure that it's not bleeding. Let me have a look.
It's fine. Leave it alone.
No, I've been trained to help with these things.
Give me a blind check as you try to persuade him here, Gale. You see he looks at you and waves you off. Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Dang it. Okay,
Adam,
I
I
will help
want to
you.
do an insight check on him. I don't trust him.
All right, give me a blind check. I will make this at disadvantage as your companion essentially just did the same thing down below.
Yep.
That will have to be a blind check.
Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Too many darn buttons sometimes. Here you go. Okay.
You don't detect any obvious deception. But he does look towards Kurtu. You were just the one that said, or who said they had the spell that could make him tell the truth?
That was me.
Okay, so he will look towards you, Leroy, and he'll say, these, I can tell just by looking at them. I've faced them before. They're called Yuan Ti. They are particularly resistant to magic.
Yeah, but
No harm in trying anyway, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's other ways to make people talk. I mean, we could just tie them to the back of the boat, and then every so often pull them up and say, "You want to talk now?" And then we'll drop them back in the water. But judging by everybody's face, that doesn't sound like something you guys want to do.
Oh,
I
no,
want to
I'm on
chop
board.
off his hand.
Every 10 seconds we stab him in the balls.
Whoa, Josephine. See, I've only read about things like that. I mean, I know we're not like the torturous type, and we're not gonna go around doing that or nothing, but if somebody sent him for us, then, we should probably know. Right?
Well, Mr. Marlin, why? What is their particular interest? Is it this box? Is it us in particular? What do they? Since you know them so well.
I've faced them before. I don't know exactly. They're a very strange race. Very old. They tend to be wrapped up in plots and schemes and things. Maybe
Are
we
they
could
like-
ask him, see what we can learn.
Excellent. I'll help you move the thing and the other thing.
As he's casting spells at us. Because you won't check off his hand.
Yeah, I'm
Honest-
concerned about
I mean,
that.
yeah, I could chop his hand off, but then like he might die before we can ask him the questions.
We can
And that's
stabilize
just-
him.
Yeah. But
But you're such a nice fat guy with a sword. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Tell you what, you don't want to do it, so we'll stand nearby
I don't
him
know
at
what-
the ready, and if he tries anything funny, if he starts mouthing off incantations or something, we whack him.
Just break his fingers. He has to make somatic components. So break his fingers. You want
We'll
to
keep
kill
his
him.
hands tied up. He doesn't need his hands to talk to us.
he's got my sock in his mouth. He can't say nothing.
Oh no, but you want to ask him questions. How do you want him to answer you? You want him to fart out the answers? Come on, just chop off its hand.
I'm gonna hand my axe to Kurtu. Yep.
That's too big for me.
I loved it
Yeah.
earlier when you said we don't want to torture it. I'm just here screaming, chop off his hand.
I thought we weren't allowed to call our shots in 5e.
Maybe it's
I'm
not
gonna
a
look
real
over at
tattoo.
Sylph.
Maybe it's like henna or something. We can wash it off.
I'm gonna look over at Sylph and say, "Hey, Sylph, look, what do you think? Are we? You think we should do a little hand choppy, and then ask questions? What do you think we should do here?"
We need to necessarily remove the man's hands, but
He has no spell components. He doesn't have a spell object other than the rune, which means that is his spell focus.
you want my opinion. They are our enemy. They chose that. They attacked us, so do as you will with him. I will not interfere.
Another vote for chop off the heads. Love it.
Goodness. Well, I mean,
Here, and I'll toss a sack to whoever's closest and say, if you need him to talk but don't want him to be able to see, just put that on his head once you remove his gag.
Ooh, good idea.
yeah. Don't a
I'll
lot of
say
your
it.
spells require you to see things, Kurtu?
Not all of them. And by the way, he doesn't see through it with this hand. Mhm. Doesn't seem to need it for seeing, but may need to see it for casting.
Alright,
We
pop
keep
quiz
his hands
too.
bound, we ungag him, we put the bag over his head, and we tell him if he doesn't answer us our questions, we're gonna kill him and move on to the next guy, who might be more, receptive.
Yeah, you know, maybe we start with the lower level one, because then we can iron out the details. Because it doesn't sound like we're going to do good on our first try here. So maybe figuring out how to ask the questions, what questions to ask, and then the proper torture technique. And then we move on to big bad guy. What do you think?
Yes, go for little girl.
I mean, I kind of think if we go for the big guy first, she'll see we mean business, and she'd be more likely to acquiesce to us, to our requests.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
very
but-
good.
Yeah, when we were
Like-
surrounding her, she's kept on attacking us, so I'm sure she's going to give up next time.
When
And
she's
also,
tied
she
up
wrote
and
on that-
doesn't have weapons and everything else, yeah, I think so.
She rode on that boat just as long as we have, so she may be committed to the cause, but may not know the same things that he knows.
She looks like a snake person. Mm-hmm.
Observant.
She might be disinclined to acquiesce our request.
Oh, and
Wow.
I'm so glad when we get to port, Marlon, can we both go ahead and trade our weapons in for flowers and sunshine, please?
He gave you the axe core too, chop off hand.
Ah, it's too big for me!
By the way, is it still windy and like foggy and shit, or did that subside?
It's still windy and foggy, but as you're out of combat, no major issues with it at this point.
Okay.
Could I take a second, Adam, to see if I can figure out how long they're going to be unconscious just naturally?
Give me a blind check for medicine to see if you can try to gauge that.
You want me to do 2 for each person?
No, one's fine. You are quite confident that they are going to be out for at least 4 hours.
Okay. Do I think I could wake them up another way if I wanted to?
With magical healing, you're pretty sure.
Okay.
How much longer till
kill
we
them before we
reach
chop
port?
off their hands? Yes.
Well, like, I could just give them a little poof, little one-piecer, you know what I mean?
I'm
Just
sorry,
enough to, the threat of being stabbed in the balls. To me, I'd say anything, but to them, I don't know if that's going to work.
do they even have balls? I thought snakes had like cloacas and such.
We're getting off topic. I'm going to move.
We got one way to check.
Well, this one's
Isn't anyone just a little curious about the anatomy of these things?
No, not at all.
No, I'm not. But I can just give it one quick little HP and then do a little spelly spell.
Well, let's prepare first. So let's make sure his arms are well bound, his mouth is ungagged, I guess, because we need him to talk, and then put the sack over his head so he can't see anyone to target us with.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. The claw weapon, you could have used that at any point, Kurtu. That would have been enough to chop a head.
I had to look at my inventory to see if I had it.
Hey, we're past it now. The option is behind us. So look, I think we should understand the spells last for 10 minutes. So, if things don't go right with the first guy, we don't want to waste time, and we want to wake the second one up. We got to do it within 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
So I'll just stay within 5 feet of whoever we're interrogating with my staff, out ready to keeping my reaction to whack him if it sounds like he's beginning to cast a spell. Does that work?
Sure, and just remember our new best friend just tried to spit acid at us and everything, so you may want to just be close enough but not too close to her poison spit.
So you can't technically ready actions outside of combat, but I will say I'm understanding what Josephine would like to do and is prepared.
Josephine intends to hit him if he, yeah. And if it comes to that, we'll figure it out then.
Yep, so just so you're aware, mechanically it would be an initiative roll and act an initiative.
You got it.
And then can we give up our initiative in this campaign?
You can, but only to you can say, like, I want so-and-so to go first, and then your initiatives lower below theirs.
Yep.
So before I do anything involving waking anybody up, Adam, I'm going to make sure the rope is nice and taut, and then I'm going to take the rope that I had already tied to the mast and then tie it to the rope that's using them to tie up. So they're like double tied up, if that's possible.
Okay, so you have both of them essentially sitting on the ground, tied together, and then tied to the mast.
Yep.
Okay.
Like back to back, and then, that rope that's tied them back to back is tied to the mast.
Okay, I'm with you. I got you. Yep.
Cool. I want to make sure it's nice and taut. And then I'm going to go to the girl first, and then I'm going to look at everybody.
Wait, you haven't tied around the same pole?
Yeah. They have to be close.
They're gonna talk to each other. They're going to talk to each other in a language that only snakes talk.
No, we only wake them up one at a time.
Oh, okay, very well. Sorry, I'm just gonna help Marlin start up the boat.
I just want to say, you have a very intimidating voice. Are you good at intimidating people? Maybe that could help us.
I am actually surprisingly not very intimidating. I'm glad you said so, though.
Can you switch to, like, Summer? You know what I mean? Does that help you out any?
No, I'm in a very helpful, giving, trusting mood right now.
Maybe you step back then, yeah?
Okay, I'll help over here.
Okay, all right. Sylph, look, are you in any way, can you do dangerous tone of voice, primordial, abyssal speak, anything like that? You got any tricks up your sleeve to make people creeped out?
I prefer to catch my flies with honey, not vinegar.
Okay.
Adam.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. So
You
Sorry.
passed over me. What?
Out-
What? Do you
out
think I
here.
can't be intimidating?
I can't.
he
And I'll
says that to you.
I'll bare my little hands and like do like a clawing motion.
I'm gonna look down. I'm gonna look down at you like, no. But maybe I could be a little persuasive in wanting them to give up their information. We'll try. We'll figure it out.
Oh, sure. Maybe just tell them you're gonna let them go or something like that. By the way, I'm not really good at intimidating people because of my size, and people take my size. They don't understand what I'm capable of. But I tend to. I don't want to say lie, but I can twist things around a little bit sometimes.
Okay. All right. Well, depending on the route we end up taking here, we'll figure that out. But
Yeah, I may tell them that if they don't tell us the truth, I may let them lose their hand. Who knows?
that we'll keep that in our back pocket. And then I'm gonna take my
this is gonna
hand.
go so
Oh,
poorly.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. If no, actually, the more I think about it, because I'm such a magnanimous mood, I can face step into their presence, and then potentially they fail something. If they're wisdom wise or not, then I charm them.
All right. We're gonna call that Plan B. Right?
Okay,
And
Plan B.
And then I'm gonna say B out loud, and then that's when you do what you do. Okay.
But they have to see me.
Wait, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
letter or the insect? It's an important distinction.
The letter.
Okay.
And then we only have one back, so just the guy's getting backed. This one, she's gonna be able to see us. So everybody, angriest faces. That's good, Kurt. All right, I'm gonna give the female one just one little lay of hand healing at him.
You will notice her eyes slowly flutter and then open, and you see that snake slit eye as her eyes then narrow. Obviously very wounded and weary, she still stares at you with a fearsome determination.
Hi. Are you thirsty?
She stares at you intently but does not speak.
Okay. So, did any of us do something to you guys? Or was it that guy Marlin over there? We're just trying to get to the bottom of why you wanted to attack us.
She still does not respond.
Is it time for Plan C yet?
No. All right, Adam, I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
Targeting her?
Yep.
It is
It's,
a magical zone, so it affects the area.
It would pretty much get everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to roll too, and then they just start spewing out truths, but
I mean, we
They
have
would be
to,
in it.
right?
I want to see if maybe Marlin gets affected by this.
Marlin's not currently right next to you guys. He seems like he's a little further away.
so I guess I'll just throw out some spell effect rolls. Let's start with the lady who's bound up.
All right, spell effect roll at disadvantage. This does seem to affect her.
All right, we'll go Gale next.
I'm sure that affects him.
Sylph.
What?
I can't imagine Syl's affected by that.
And then we got Kurtu.
Well, also remember we're
So-
next to you, which
Yeah,
means,
sorry, hang on, keep in mind. They would actually be making saves. The spell effect rolls would only be for the enemies.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Right, I just had to remember that because it was both PCs and NPCs. So everybody feel free to roll just a public, this is wisdom save?
Charisma.
Charisma saving throw. Okay, everybody just feel free to roll a public charisma save. What is your spell save DC, Leroy?
13.
Okay, so if you roll a less than a 13, you are compelled to tell the truth while in this zone.
But
But
also
you do not have to speak if you don't want to.
But also we are next to him, so we on his own spell we get a save on his spell.
I think he can
Oh, that-
choose who's affected by that, so I'm assuming he wouldn't affect you at this moment.
Yeah, no. I mean, you guys would be within the zone, so.
Oh, I'm gonna
that
tell the truth. Trust me, I'm gonna have fun with that.
Here comes all the
Um,
suppressed memories from when he was just a baby kobold.
That's funny. All right. So then, after I cast the spell, I'm gonna look at her and say, "Look, you know that if you don't tell us the truth, you're going to die right here, right now. Is your cause really enough to die for?"
This doesn't seem to faze her in the slightest. She just stares at you intently.
She has 30 seconds before I smack her. I will count this. I am telling the truth. I failed the riddle. I have to.
All right. I am going to wake the other guy up, Adam, while she's still awake.
Meaning you're spending another point of healing?
I am. I'm gonna walk over and I'm just gonna look at everybody and shake my head like I got this. I know what I'm doing.
All right.
That's good, because I really want to kill her, and I'm telling the truth about that.
So another spell effect roll when he was unconscious. As far as I'm aware, he would still get a save on this. So go ahead and post another spell effect roll at disadvantage. You can tell he is not affected.
Okay.
Let me know when
So-
30 seconds pass.
What I'm gonna say to him is, as he wakes up and he looks at me, I'm gonna say,
So he has the bag on his head, right?
"Uh-huh."
All right, so as the
I'm gonna-
healing rushes through him, like right when you get done doing this, you hear, so I'm not dead.
I will just gently, tap on the bag and say, not yet. No, not yet."
So this is where you ask questions to me.
No, actually, we asked your friend behind you all the questions we need. Kurtu, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't,
Yeah, go ahead.
but he's tied up now. I mean, if I do that, he's gonna.
Her. Her.
But
Has it been 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can take her.
Okay, when Kurtu walks up to try to stab her, I take the shot first before he can get here.
Is your intention to knock her out or just kill her?
I told her I would kill her, and I am compelled to tell the truth, so I guess I have to.
I guess
Alright.
you have to.
So that smacks solidly right in the face, and yep, she dies. She just falls over.
We got what we needed.
Just out of character, though, remember, he's the one. Kurtu wants to take off the hand, so when you say, Kurtu, go ahead and do it, he wasn't planning on taking off her hand because she doesn't have the mark on her hand.
I got you.
Okay, back in character.
Yeah. So after being whacked in the head, I'm gonna say, now here's your chance to earn what she couldn't earn. She didn't want to tell the whole truth. She told part truths. I'm sure you can feel what's going on around you, and I can tell you're smarter than she is. Your life for some answers. Do you accept?
Certainly. What would you like to know?
Let's go with the obvious, right? Who sent you? Was it for us or just the ship?
For your host, Marlin St. Reed. We were to assassinate him.
Why'd you just knock him out?
A great question. Why did you only knock him out? Because obviously you got to him before you got to us.
I just got here. They are not good at following instructions.
So you assassinate him, and then you return to who? Who gave you this order?
Oh, everything is arranged through middlemen.
Okay. Does your middleman have a name? Or does she have a name, perhaps?
He has a name, but I doubt it is real.
Where'd you meet him? And why don't you give me the name anyways?
His name was Thomas.
That's
Definitely
it.
sounds
Thomas.
like a fake name. You didn't get a surname? A Sir Thomas, maybe?
In my line of work, we don't ask too many questions.
Okay. So, you were sent here to assassinate Marlin by a middleman.
Yes.
How did they know to seek you out? Are you well known for this, or what? Are you just some hitman? Did he just find you looking shady in a tavern?
When you know the right people, you know who to speak to find what you are looking for.
Before I go to speak with Marlin, did they say it was for any reason? Did he do you wrong? Or somebody else wrong?
I am simply hired to kill him. I don't need a reason.
Okay. I'm gonna look at everybody and say, well, does anybody have a question for our kind
Yeah,
patron
I got a
here?
question for you. So if we let him go, he's just gonna come back and try to finish the job.
No, you see, I have failed. Now they will kill me. I will try to disappear if you let me go.
Can I roll an insight check on that?
You can. Give me
Right.
a blind check, please. You are not sure, Josephine.
Sil or Gail, you guys have any questions for this fine gentleman?
Well, I feel maybe he's tell truth, right? He's assassins, and he gets paid to do something, and then he failed, and yes, he's definitely going to lose his head, or his colloquia.
Sil,
Ooh,
any
ooh.
questions? Anything?
Josephine, you could ask now.
I ask what?
How is colloquia looks like? What's it called?
Cloaca.
Oh.
Cloaca.
I'm gonna pass on that.
I have a question. Do you have any gems hidden in your body anywhere?
No.
Don't know how many holes you snake people have.
No gems.
Are we still moving, Adam? Are the rowers still rowing, or is it more stable?
It's fairly still at the moment. It sounds like down below Marlin's trying to reassure them and get them back in, but you can hear a lot of shouting and complaining. It doesn't sound like combat. It sounds more like, holy shit, we're having to put up with these kind of working conditions?
They need a union.
All right. Look, I'm a man of my word. I said I would let you go, Kurtu. I know, Kurtu, I know. I'm gonna cut the rope that he's connected to the mast, but he's still tied up. Him and the girl, Adam.
Okay,
And
you mean the body of the girl? Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And I'm gonna pull him up on his feet and say, all right, you got your feet underneath you? You transformed on your way here to a little snaky thing. Was that on purpose? Can you do that all the time?
No, that was a spell.
Perfect. And I'm going to throw him over the board.
All right,
While
you
he's
start
still
taking
connected.
him while he's still tied up, essentially?
Yeah, while he's still tied up, he's still got a bag on his head. I'm just going to heave-ho him.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. You're edging him to the railing, and you hear him kind of complaining and not so much begging, but you hear I could help, and I assume you just chuck him overboard at that point?
Yep. I'm just going to say, remember, I let you live, and you just figure the rest out.
And you hear...
And don't attack the people who pay us.
All right, yes, he will hit the water, and yeah, you will see him over on the side and sort of struggling, trying to do what he can while his hands are tied. But with all the fog and everything, I would say you pretty quickly are going to lose sight of him.
Somebody doesn't like our host.
We were gonna drown the poor bastard. It would have been more merciful just to cave his skull in. Not that I'm complaining. He tried to kill us. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
My grandmother knitted that sack for me.
We'll get you another one. We got 2,000 gold between us.
You see, like, that hurt Leroy's feelings way more than throwing somebody overboard.
I looked up. Syl did fail his charisma save. Yeah.
Maybe we should tell Marlin that the guy told us before you so kindly threw him overboard. Maybe we tell him that, ask him what secrets he was hiding, because this guy was telling us about the secrets.
Well, hey, look, my zone is still up. If you guys want to call him up here real quick, and then maybe we can try to catch him off guard.
We can at least try to figure out what kind of enemies he's made. They were after him specifically.
What we're doing is, like, real. Like, are we supposed to actually, like, are we on some kind of, like, foreign delegate mission or something? Or are we really trying to fetch this artifact?
I don't understand the distinction.
Well, like, I mean, he could have said, hey, come help us do this thing. And we go, yeah, and we got on this boat, and then we don't know where we're going. It's a magical dungeon with magical layers. Like, I mean, it sounded cool at first, but now, knowing that he's got assassins after him, I don't know what to think.
We've got a fucking 5-headed dragon god after us, okay?
Yeah,
our problems are bigger than his problems.
That's true.
I guess. I mean, that's valid. And Gale really pissed him off. Or her, or it.
Yeah, mostly Gale, honestly.
Yeah, we should sacrifice Gale.
Wait, are you guys joking or telling truth?
No, just out of character.
I don't know. Let's check those charisma saves.
Well, I failed.
Let me scroll up in roll 20. Please.
But I didn't say for sure we sacrifice him. I just said it was mostly his fault.
Everything's optional. Keeping it on the table.
All right, so it sounds like perhaps you guys want to try to get Marlin inside the effect of the zone. Is that the plan?
Is there a visual effect of the zone of truth, or is it invisible?
I don't think it's just a zone, right? And I don't think it's visual in any way. It doesn't say anything, and usually it has some kind of.
I will say it's not visible based on how I understand the spell. It doesn't declare one way or the other. But I would say that obviously if he was to step into it, he would know immediately, and he could just step out of it if he wanted to.
Yeah. We couldn't force him to stay in it, but maybe we could fire off a quick question, you know.
Right, but he doesn't have to answer. He could just step backwards and then say, "Oh, well,
Yeah, that's true.
But that tells us plenty.
Maybe,
Why don't
but
you stay in our circle?
You also would tend to know that people don't like when they're magically compelled to do things, so wouldn't necessarily
Why don't we
tell you
save
everything.
that option? Yeah, why don't we save that option if he really doesn't want to talk to us? We probably shouldn't piss off our employer too much before we even get to shore, like because of the implication, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I can drop the spell now. Don't want to piss anybody off. I can just sound good. Does anybody have anything they want to get off their chest before this is gone? Because now you really can't, and I'm going to look around intently.
Oh, I've got nothing else to say. I've already tried to say it all. You guys just are you're such nice warriors. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
I didn't mean it. I was lying. I was using my deceitful spell. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to drop Zone of Truth.
All right. As the zone ends and you guys look to the horizon as the boat continues moving, again, still dark, still windy, still rough seas, but it seems as though Marlin has finally wrangled the crew, those that remain, as the 4 obviously turned out to be hidden interlopers. But he makes his way back above deck, still really sensitive to that back area of his head, and looks to you all and shaking his head after you fill him in about the fact that you threw the guy overboard. You see he seems a little reluctant here, like he maybe wanted to question him himself, but what's done is done, and he just sort of gives you a nod as he makes his way to the front of the ship and sort of just stares, doing his best Captain Morgan as he puts his foot on the railing and looks to the future. So that is where we'll go ahead and pause our session here, guys. We will pick up next week and continue as you make your way to the Bottomless Dungeon.
Good job, guys.
I had some
Yeah.
fun role playing that day, guys.
That was
I must admit,
good.
I was cracking up.
I was
Yeah,
too,
the-
guys. That was some of the most fun I've heard in a while, guys. Because at the end, yeah, I feel like everything was hilarious.
Maybe you want to start
Honestly,
handing
I
out
did want to
inspiration
chop
for our
off his
roleplay.
hand, though. I will say that because I just didn't trust him. But I was having a lot of fun with it. Thanks.
my internal conflict was Leroy is a paladin, but he's a paladin with the loftiest of ideals of being a paladin. So, well, how does he really feel about chopping somebody's arm off? And then once I went around and everybody was like, "Yeah, we're cool with it," then it was really like, oh.
Maybe I'll go below
Alright.
decks and contemplate on how this impacts me.
Right, that's right. I didn't see the rogue steal that bag. Yeah.
It's very funny.
Are we the
Very
bad?
funny. My grandmother knitted that bag.
That was great.
That's
That was
funny,
great.
that's funny.
All right, guys. It was an absolute blast. We'll see you all next week as we continue the adventure. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night,
Have
everybody.
a good one,
Thanks,
folks. We'll
everybody.
see you.
Bye.
Yeah.